change it. I think that's one of the reasons why Clinton won. You know, Clinton had this no matter what.
I'll tell you, when we first had this conversation about the letters, you were right. And
you know, I was just playing it up, and these guys are like, "What? It has a boost!" You know, I mean, over 25-year-old guys.
Poor job of organizing, poor job of educating too.
Yeah.
What?
Oh no.
You have me?
I see a level from you, and now I see a level from me. You know what the really comical thing? You know what we should do?
What?
Is just do the whole show just like this and not bring them on.
Yeah, that would be really funny.
Wouldn't that be the best?
Just hear him in the background, like
Just
like,
yeah. Well,
you know,
we can leave. We can let them talk in the background, but just not show them at all.
Dad, can I talk? Can I come in the front seat? Can I please? I just shit myself.
It's like it's literally trying to rein in two children. Well, one child and one semi-adult. Anyway, and trying to get them to be quiet. Luckily, I have the mute button. I can.
Oh, fucking
good.
unbelievable.
That's
He's
But the
great.
problem is now they're on desktop audio, so they are that you could hear them along with you.
he's got some.
Go ahead and introduce him then, Phil, since you already brought him in. You know,
I don't know if I want to.
you know,
Maybe I just want to say hello to Larry first, because Larry hasn't been here in a long time.
I
You've
do
been here
want to
forever, and
apologize.
he's introducing Larry.
See?
I want to apologize to Larry because we're cutting into his Piccadilly Cafe happy hour senior citizen time. I know he gets 20% off when he goes at 3 p.m. to eat. So thanks for being here with us, Larry. Unless you're watching from the Piccadilly Cafe.
Right. And, you know, I swore between the last week's show and between the Aussie show, I swore to myself, I said, Self, you're not going to drink during this show, but with these two coming on, I am drinking during this show. And I'm dangerously low on my Jack Daniels.
I got a fresh bottle of Jack Daniels for here when you get
You know what? The only time I drink this is during the shows.
Does
Does that say anything?
I mean, you're in Florida. What are you going to do the rest of the time?
AJ and Pete.
Yes.
AJ
Go ahead and
Pete.
introduce.
What you know, I was talking to them before the show, and I said, you know, you remember certain things when you do shows. You remember, you know, talking to some people more than others. I remember when we met them, and I remember just really enjoying the conversation.
Yes.
Not just from a vaping perspective, but from like a personality perspective too.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Well, I mean, you couldn't get Pete to stop talking all the time, but other than that, I mean, it was good. I mean,
So,
it was.
Maybe we should bring them on, and maybe we should introduce them, ladies and gentlemen, from the 𝗵𝗵𝗶 Vape Show, AJ and Pete.
Oh, what an intro! What an intro!
Ready?
Party poppers. Yeah, party poppers.
Ready?
I just shit myself.
Wrong button, AJ. No, party poppers.
I just shit myself.
Sorry, I'm
This is our big moment. 8 years I've been waiting for this.
Yeah. Okay, that's quite enough.
There was a technical issue there.
Sorry,
I don't know
sorry.
what happened. We had a sound deck arranged with fireworks and everything to celebrate.
Oh, man.
8 years. Welcome, DP Show fans, to the UK. AJ and Pete here at the 𝗵𝗵𝗶 Vape
It's
Show.
nice to give these smaller YouTubers a bit of a leg up on our platform.
We're giving them, AJ, tonight some exposure to our audience in the UK.
That's
We're
nice.
just
Nice of us.
paying them back because this older generation originally paved the way for people like us.
Older generation.
You know, they know what I mean.
Absolutely. Well, listen, it's a great honor for you to be on with us. It really is. But
We could do this one of two ways, really, now that I'm thinking about it. Either we could just do me and you and just have them talking in the background, or we could just do this shot and shut the fuck up and let them have the show.
Absolutely. That's a really good idea.
And now the
Really
fee
good
you've
idea.
paid us is worth it. So that 10 grand's really going to good use by letting us host the show.
Generally, as a big show fan, I know we tend to start off with thanking Pam. Pam's bound to be in the comments.
Yeah,
Is
Pam.
Pam there
Yes.
yet, everyone?
I'm sure she is. PSS.
Hi, Pam.
I'm sure she is.
Yeah,
big supporter.
Oh, right, yeah.
And Larry. We obviously heard Larry was there while we were waiting.
Larry got introduced before us.
Yeah, I know.
Larry probably is going to need a translator to understand what you two guys are saying, but I'm sure you understand. Hi, Larry.
Is that a language barrier or just because we're British?
No, he's just old. Phil, first of all, I do want to say that we've been planning this for a while with the guys, and we talked about it when we saw him at the Vapor Expo UK. Before we get started on shows and backgrounds and all that and all the questions that I have,
You want to discuss my shirt?
First of all, the first comment I saw in the chat was Janine saying, "Quite a spiffy shirt that you're wearing, Phil." So I just wanted to bring that up. That was one of the first comments that I saw in the chat. Thanks
what was the dare again, Demi?
Janine, I have a question for Janine. Okay, just like from a female perspective. Okay, if you were to see a guy in this shirt, would you instantly want to have sex with them, or?
You asked the wrong person. Really,
no, I know. I'm asking. Just play along with it, Dimitri. For Christ's sake, I know. Or would you run the other way?
That's who you should be asking. Is Pete? He wants to have sex with you.
I mean, I could answer that if I'm ready. If they want to come back to the UK for an answer.
Yeah. Phone the police.
So A is, would I want to have sex? Or B, am I slightly moist? C, would I cross the road? And then generally we have D on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire across the bottom.
Yeah.
D being...
Phone the police.
I would be slightly moist.
Wow. No, we have everyone exclusive.
Wow. Breaking news.
Oh, yeah. That shirt's hot.
Yep, the shirt is the shirt is attracting exactly what I thought it would. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Male attention.
Right. So anyway, this is a gift from Dimitri. There's actually a set of two. This is the black one. This is also a white one. But this is my Star Trek Hawaiian shirt, and I wore my sexy white shorts on top of it. So
wow,
only in Florida. Only in Florida.
I mean, I think I nailed that 78-year-old look I was going for you. I mean, I really did. I think I did it right on the nail.
Good job.
I hope you got Skechers flip-flops on as well, too. That would just only complete the look.
I don't wear flip-flops.
No.
Okay.
I don't.
All right.
You've got to draw the line somewhere, after all.
What's that?
You got to draw the line somewhere, after all.
I draw the line to flip-flops.
Flip-flops.
Actually, I don't want to be honest with you. I don't think anybody should wear flip-flops. I don't want to look at other people's feet. I don't want to have. Some of them are not good. Some of them are not good, and you shouldn't have to look at them.
Okay, so you're all right with us looking at that shirt, though? Your feet.
Well, no, actually, I don't want you looking at the shirt, but apparently Dimitri did because he's the one who sent it to me. So don't blame me. Don't blame me.
That's what I get for taking care of the old man. But when we were in the UK, we met up, and it was funny because there was another UK show, some unknowns or whatever, that said that Phil was unapproachable. There's some guys that are trying to be popular on YouTube that use people's names to get ahead, I guess, in this industry. But there was like a couple of guys from a UK vape show on YouTube that has like 3 viewers that said that Phil was unapproachable at the booth. So I want to get your perspective. Like, did you find that Phil, or me for that case,
I can
were
answer this
unapproachable?
I'd like you to take the floor for this. Yeah.
I mean, to say unapproachable is wrong. The problem was he just wouldn't leave us alone. He just kept coming up, autographs, photos,
propositioned me
outside the hotel.
Where are you staying?
He had a sign up. Yeah. I mean, so I wouldn't say approachable was the problem. It's actually the other way around was the issue.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness.
Well, we interrupted your filming session.
Yeah.
I think you guys were doing a live or something like that. And I was like, oh, this sounds quite interesting. And so we hung around for that. That was when we first kind of started taking photos of you and that sort of thing.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, I want people to understand that what you see online is basically how we are in real life.
Yeah, totally. Just enthusiastic, funny, personable, all the nice things.
I think probably the truth is, obviously, we refer to you as the Pablo Escobar of vaping. There was times there where we were there for the whole event. There was times there where you were no doubt busy with business, and they're the times where if I saw you, I probably wouldn't go over and chat. Yeah, maybe they caught you at one of those moments.
You're being very generous to them.
I mean, I don't think I really don't think I just don't think it was fair for Phil, because I've been traveling with Phil for the last decade, and every show that we go to, I don't care who you are, he'll talk to anybody, no matter what his mood is, no matter what it is, and especially if he finds the conversation, or like we did when we met you guys in Birmingham, we'll sit down and have an extensive talk and try to give our perspective, try to give advice, try to give friendly banter. We try to create friends everywhere that we go.
And the bottom line
like
is,
we kind of hit it off when we were there. I mean, I'm not just saying I could blow smoke up your ass, but
those shows, no matter where they are in the world, you go to them to talk to people.
Of course.
So, like you guys are there to work, usually on behalf of Inikin.
Of course.
You're there to talk to people. So to say that you'd be unapproachable would be counterintuitive to why you're actually there.
Correct.
So that
Absolutely
doesn't make sense.
One of the things that I used to say after going to shows, there would be three things that would happen to me, right? The first thing that my voice would get like really, really low, like Barry White low, is because you're talking to so many people.
Would you do us an example maybe after the show of what that sounds like?
Yes, baby, absolutely.
It wasn't your ringtone.
No, but like you're talking to so many people that eventually you start to lose your voice. The voice gets lower, and like when I talk to people at a show, it's sometimes it's a little bit of like, I want people to hear me with everything that's going on in the background and the noise and the music and everything, and I want people to hear me. I want them to understand what I'm saying, right? So there's that. The other thing is my hand would hurt from shaking so many hands, and I have kind of a firm handshake. And then I always joke the last thing it would be is my stomach would hurt from sucking it in from all of the photos that you would take all day long, right? Those would be the three things.
A dark twist for a second.
Yeah. I wondered where it was going.
I didn't know where you were going with the sucking in bit.
Well, I could. The arm really bothers him because at night he couldn't jerk off. But the truth of having good conversation at these shows and making friends that are memorable, over the years we've done this everywhere. So now we say, hey, we got 2 more friends. After we left the show in Birmingham, we actually talked about that with Phil. We said, hey, we got 2 more friends here that we can hang out with and talk to when we come to these shows. So we really enjoyed having you. But the conversation really was kind of geared around mouth-to-lung vaping and the styles of vaping. And before we get into expanding that conversation a little bit here online, we would just want to know about you a little bit.
Actually, before we do that, if you're talking about mouth-to-lung vaping, I just do want to say that I am vaping watermelon peach. That's the #1 best-selling flavor in the unsalted line. The #1 best-selling flavor in the unsalted line. Does that mean I should drink twice?
Obviously, yeah.
But yeah, give us a little bit of background on you guys, on your vaping journey, and of course how you transitioned that into YouTube and what you're doing now.
Yeah, well, we've worked together for a very long time, and we were both smokers. We quit and started vaping on the same day because it was like we spend so much, a bit like I can imagine when you and Phil are on the road, you spend so much time together. It's easier if you do it as 2 of you. So we're like, we're going to quit. We're going to start vaping day one. Before that, we always used to say, wouldn't it be amazing if there was a way to stop smoking, but to carry on with the habitual part of it without any of the harm? Yeah. Genuinely. And then vaping came along.
Yeah, I think mine is an honest, I tried a couple of times and it didn't really work. I tried a cigar-like, a direct looking cigarette with the screw tips, which is still going today. But I carried on smoking on and off. Yeah. Then I tried do you remember, maybe it was different in the States, but we then had atomizer pens that had like a wick that kind of went out in like a plait into the tank.
Yeah.
Okay. Clearo style.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was terrible at dry burning those.
Yeah.
I kept on going for a restricted direct to lung. Even in the early days, I wanted to straw suck it, rather than smoke it like a cigarette. And it was only later on that I kind of mastered it, which was, it was like April 2014. It was 4th of April, something like that. We did it. It was a mate's wedding day, and that was the kind of event that marked the giving up.
But we bashed through loads of dodgy starter kits and awful cheapy liquids from like corner shops and like little local stores and stuff, as I'm sure everyone did.
Sure.
It's interesting now when we cover a lot of the starter end of the market and what we do, and how much better beginning starter vapor kits are now, and how much easier it is to get into your vaping journey now than it was when we were starting 6-7 years
massively.
ago.
Not only is flavor incredible now,
Just the technology and
longevity
the
out
quality
of the
of vape.
coil, the fact that it's really hard to make a user error compared to how it used to be.
I think really the vaping experience only really got good for us. I think you had the MVP mod, the first one,
When
the big
back
square
then,
mod.
20-watt box. Yep.
Yeah.
you guys had just done a video touring China factories, something like that.
Yeah, it was 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Wow. And yeah, that was about the time where I kind of knew about you guys and said, invite us on the channel. No, it didn't, because we didn't even have a channel there.
We're waiting
Yeah,
on time.
and that was our kind of journey of discovery. And a lot of the stuff for us in the UK then was following what America was doing. And America knows that because they were influencing all of our e-liquids. Everything was about American products, American reviewers, certainly American e-liquid, should I say, American reviewers, and these products from brands that would hopefully make it to, it was kind of small shops at the time. There was no big chains. Everything was kind of like starting out, even though e-cigarettes have kind of been around for a few years, but they just weren't, we weren't seeing what you guys were seeing in America. We were slightly behind that trend.
And then it really got exciting. We've been, as I said, we've been working together for a long time, running basically a video company. We make videos.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. I didn't know this either until you told me in the UK that, I mean, you guys do this for a living, not just for vaping. You just, I mean, you do videotaping and video editing and shooting and stuff like that. I'm assuming your work is featured on Pornhub at some point as well, too. But
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, before you got on, we were talking, and I asked whose house was that. Right, because I assumed it was one either AJ's or Pete's house, and they said no, this is the studio, and it did remind me that they do additional videos. By the way, when you were talking about that 𝗂𝗓𝗍𝒻𝒂 with the wicks that were coming out, did it look anything like that?
Oh, no way!
Did it?
And that reminds me of how you were back in the day, Phil.
What, fat?
No.
Oh,
the set.
I'm saying, 8 years ago, that's what it used to look like.
Yeah, that was his background.
Yeah.
His different house. Yeah.
Yes.
But transitioning to that to turn it into a business and to to start doing what you were doing already to the vaping, what triggered that? What really gave you the motivation to?
So the production company side of things was already a thing. The vaping side of it kind of caught on really as a like that whole kind of cliche of like do the things you love and it's not work,
right?
So that's pretty much how it all came about. Like, wouldn't it be great there's days where you're filming stuff that is very technical and you've got no idea whether it's correct what you've caught on camera or not, because you're just there to film. Then when it comes to the editing, you need someone beside you because you don't know what it is. So the job can be really dull, as much as I'm sure people go, wow, that's such a cool job. So the fun side of it, to do things that were like something we enjoyed, where we're going to learn more and more about the products and all the rest of it, was a real dream for us. And that was really what kind of started about doing vape videos. And in the early days, right up to sort of 18 months ago, we stayed behind the scenes of pretty much all videos we did.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say all videos, because we have this gem here that Phil's getting ready to bring up here. Apparently, listen, let's play the video first, and I have a lot of commentary on this video here. Let's go ahead and do this, Phil.
Favorite shot of it. Oh, it's plugging it into the phone. Which way should I go?
lot of comments on it. First of all, I can understand why the marketing director at Inikin was fired. Second of all,
this is Inikin.
Second of all, I cannot believe that part of our profits were cut into to pay for that production. Number three, this is blatant false advertising. We all know there's absolutely no fucking way you hike. I mean, we can all agree on that. There's absolutely no way.
If you go back, there's a shot in there where he's pretending to use the compass, and I've put the little overlay on the screen, it's awful. But if you look in his hand, he's holding a camera tripod. It's a camera tripod, not a walking stick. There's Manfrotto down the side of it.
My God, this is so bad.
What's funny is that is the very scene that I was going to go back at and laugh at. That was the one right there.
That is the look of a confused man looking at that compass. Nobody believes that you can read a compass anyway. So I'm going to get the point of it.
By the way, the car is literally 20 feet in front of him, but he's looking. He's looking for it.
Oh boy,
he's looking for it.
I mean, it's quite clear what's happened here.
Sorry.
Yeah. It looks like I've been stitched up a kipper.
Yeah. So that's in our not so glorious days of paying the bills.
That's what happens when you arrange a shoot and someone doesn't turn up, and yet you go, "We will deliver."
Oh, so you had an actor booked for that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he didn't show up. I don't blame them.
They saw the storyboard and were like, "No."
You did pretty good. I can't complain. It was fun. But the business aspect of Vape, to me, what was glorious, I would say, and Phil, I think, can attest to this as well too, is when you get the point where you're seriously considering about making this into a living, and so. As far as harm reduction is concerned, which is something that's been lost, and we talked about this a little bit at UK. I mean, the harm reduction aspect of vaping, unfortunately, in this glamorous YouTube drama promotion business that has transpired in the last 3 or 4 years, the harm reduction aspect has, been really dodgy. But for us, I think it was like, man, wow, I vape, I quit smoking, I can help people quit smoking and make a living at this. I mean, that's pretty fucking cool, right?
And for us, it was a similar mindset. We've enjoyed this journey, but it's been a shit one. We've made loads of mistakes, bought loads of crap. Wouldn't it be good to be able to use our skills as video makers to put out content that helps people not make those mistakes?
Yeah.
And we've stuck to that kind of mantra all the way through. We don't really go too deeply into sub-own. We don't ever go into building or drippers, squonkers, any of that. It's not really our thing. We stick at the starter end of the market. How can we help people when they start vaping? And for us, when we started, it wasn't ever to think about the business side of it. It was, we enjoy this, and if we're good at it, maybe that will sort itself out in the future.
Yeah.
But let's do this to start with because it's something we enjoy.
But yeah, we not only benefited from that experience ourselves, but like AJ said, we wasted a fortune on devices. And I say a fortune, like in real terms, I'd say probably £150 a month on new kit, constantly chasing. And you know what the industry looks like. There's always something new out. And I just wanted like the best flavor I could get. Then I wanted thicker clouds. And then you're just chasing devices of what next? So it was never really a question for us with did we want to go this route of kind of covering products? Because I definitely felt like I'd learned an awful lot. And that was with then remembering the fear of what it was like going into a vape shop for the first time and how uncomfortable it was. Bearing in mind, in 2014, you could go to your doctors, your local GP, and you could join the Stop Smoking service, and they'll give you Nicorette patches or a capsule inhaler that didn't vape. It was just you could inhale the air through this filter.
Yes.
And that was all that was available. And wow, we've come so far, because now in the UK, they're giving out vape pens. So, and we know the UK is kind of leading the world's voice on the health side of vaping. So like to be jumping in at the beginning end and going, look, this is the facts, this is the study results. And I don't think there's a country in the world that's doing it as well as the UK for saying, factually, this is our findings.
Sure.
I think there's so much misinformation that the rest of the world has to quote the UK studies. And so far it's showing that people that quit using a vape device are more likely to stay quit. And so we can then talk about the harm reduction side of like long-term vaping. Okay, so maybe your choice is to then give up vapes, and how can we do that with reducing your nicotine if that's your goal? But for me, I'm really passionate about getting people off of cigarettes because I know just how hard it is. And I know for everyone else that doesn't smoke, that's telling that person that was a smoker that's now vaping, it's just as bad for you. Because we had that message,
still get it
from friends and family going, well, that's just as bad for you as cigarettes. Oh, the amount of misinformation that's out there was infuriating.
That's what's nice about, as we've kept it doing this, and as you know, you keep doing something, it will grow. As our audience have grown on different platforms, it feels justified because you've got a louder voice, and you can, with a louder voice, put out to more people, that's wrong, that's misinformation, these are the facts, and this will help you stop smoking. So it's a nice feeling to be in this position of being able to advocate it so loudly.
Some of the things that you just said there were kind of close to my heart because, you know, you were talking about helping people, right? And that's exactly why I got involved with the reviews, because I was sending out emails to family and friends when I would get something and I liked it and it worked. I would let them know. And I'm like, okay, well, I could expand on that and I could do the videos, not to mention that I was like, you know, inspired by guys like 𝗍𝗄𝗎 and Grimm Green. But don't forget, too, when I started doing the reviews, there's no such thing as a vape shop, right? Yeah. Or very few. So people couldn't go in and they couldn't, you know, like they couldn't hold it in their hands and they couldn't feel it and they couldn't experience it. So what I tried to do was to get as much information as possible. This is why the reviews were so damn long, right? Was get as much information as possible in the video that was factual. You can't fake numbers, right? But also explain to them, what does it feel like in the hand? How hard is it to push the button? What is the material made? So, you know, I mean, that's kind of why I did what I did. And it was, bottom line, it was to assist you in where you put your money, right? Yeah. What was the best value? What could you buy that would work to get you off of cigarettes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it has been our mantra from the start. Like I said, we've not really shifted from that. I know a lot of people who make vaping content, they've done it to follow their own vaping journey and end up down the rabbit hole of billet boxes or drippers. But we've stayed true to what we had at the start, which was how many people can we help at the start? Because they're the ones that need the most assistance. Everyone else either likes what they like and they're happy to carry on, or they're geeky enough to go down the rabbit hole themselves.
And the problem is, once you start doing the rabbit hole stuff, there's a lot of very well-versed tutorials out there already, and the likes of Grimm or Matt and Bogan, who do an excellent job and get sent all of that top-end gear. Now, of course, we'd love to be working with those very expensive premium enthusiast devices for our own pleasure, but the core of the vaping industry is those people right at the very beginning, and for the main reason being, you are providing some moral backup for them that they get from nowhere else. They're not getting it from their friends and family unless they've got a friend that was a smoker that's vaping and managed three or 6 months ahead of them to go, this is what I did, do this. And if you follow this route, because we say it correctly over here, route, then you will be able to stay off of cigarettes.
One thing we've noticed recently, on this line of misinformation, like on our videos, a lot of quoting people like Andrew Tate, or just quoting misinformation that's got metal in it, that's got antifreeze in it. All of a sudden, this has become really loud, especially on YouTube. We're getting literally 50 comments a day of that ilk, like
You
spreading
Yeah,
misinformation.
you can't keep up with the amount of notifications you get now.
I don't know if you guys are experiencing the same thing over there. If you're getting the same kind of.
It has not stopped here. I mean, you know, this attack, it has not, but it seems like, you know, you bring up Andrew Tate, you bring up, you know, Joe, you bring these people up that just basically say stuff for shock value and you know, because it's going along with the flow. They're not really educated on it. They're not really proficient and to be able to pass on, you know, medical information. Yeah. I think more it's the shock value of having somebody trying to say something that's going to attract a huger audience to them than the actual fact that they care about kids vaping or what you're putting in your body and stuff like that. It's funny that you bring Andrew Tate. I just had this conversation the other day with somebody, and I heard that he's a huge fan of your show, and his followers are huge. I'm surprised you haven't been invited yet. But
to Romania, no.
Yeah, but we deal with it. I think all of us in every country in some form factor. Of course, the United States a little bit more because of these anti-vaping groups that are being paid to spread the misinformation. So I think that yes, short answer is yes, we're dealing with it. But I think that the tide is slowly, and you know, we had Dr. Colin on last week that we kind of talked about that as well too. One mind at a time eventually is going to make people like Andrew Tate look like jokers, like clowns. Because once that evidence does come out, and once people in the medical community cannot deny anymore the mountain of scientific evidence that shows that this product is less harmful than cigarettes, I think that's when we're going to be justified. And that's when you're going to be able to say, hey, Andrew Tate, look, you know, you're an idiot. You just did it for shock value. And I think eventually, not just in vaping, we've seen this in other hot topics that have come up, you know, with various people trying to attract that shock value. Yeah.
I think a lot of it will be helped in the UK, and I think that'll have a knock-on effect for maybe Europe and other kind of Western countries, is that the NHS are about, well, they were supposed to earlier this year, but they're about to launch their Swap to Stop campaign.
So that's our health service, our medical health service.
So for those that don't know, that's literally our health service are going to promote vaping as a prescribed method to stop smoking as part of the stop smoking service, not in trials anymore, but actually as a use this, and they'll give you an allowance or a device. Swap to Stop.
France is doing the same thing as well too. A lot of people, I mean, I know the UK is leading, but France is probably the second country, and still in the EU, fortunately, that is, they're working with some universities. It's a more of a longitudinal study, but they've got 7 universities, medical universities in France involved, and every one of the universities is doing something different. One is doing HPHCs, one is doing emissions, one is doing trials for conversions, and a little bit more of a longer term study before the France government gets all behind it. But like I said, I know stuff like that is going. I think even in the U.S. with the PATH study, which is a 7-year study, of course, because you know this is the U.S. government. It works so fucking slow. But even with the PATH study, I think eventually we're going to get the data that even the people that are against it are going to say, and this is what they're going to do. By the way, Jerome Adams, our former U.S. Surgeon General here, a prime example. They're going to say, well, at the time when we were against vaping, we were going based on the data that we had. And now that all this newfound evidence has come out, now we can, you know, support vaping. That's what they're going to say. But we all know the truth. But I again, one at a time, I think, you know, hopefully in our lifetime, well, for us, you guys are younger, but hopefully in our lifetime, we're going to be justified. I think there's no better feeling for any advocate. I consider myself an advocate more than a YouTuber, but I think everybody that vapes kind of in their own way are a little bit of advocate for the product. So I think there's no better feeling than an advocate being justified. You know, it's like a martyr that you're going up the hill, you know, you got all this weight on your shoulders, and all of a sudden that weight's lifted. And I think that's just a generally good feeling for everybody.
Yeah, you fought the good fight.
Yes. I got a question from the chat for you guys. What do you think about how the North American heart, lung cancer organizations are anti-vaping, especially given the UK branches are pro-vaping because they follow the actual science? So from what you've seen you know, in the U.S. with these, you know, these shield groups, what I call them, these paid mercenaries, like, you know, Lung Association, Heart Association. What are your thoughts on them, given the stance you take in the UK?
I was going to say, actually, when you were talking about it, one thing I don't think is particularly helpful in vaping advocacy is for us to focus on what feels like the elephant in the room, which is the anti-vaping kind of. It almost feels like you're talking about conspiracy theory when you're talking about lobbyists or those groups. It puts us on the edge. It makes us a kind of fringe group. And I don't think that's helpful. I think what's actually helpful is what you coined really nicely, which is one mind at a time. So rather than focusing on what the big groups are saying and they're pushing against us, let's turn around and let's just try and help people individually. Try and block out the noise while we're doing it until the weight of popular opinion is too great for them to ignore. Yeah.
So that's good advice. I mean, I agree with you. The bad thing is that they have millions and their voice is just very fucking loud right now. Let me say good evening to Thomas Braziak. Thomas is in your own personal nurse, Phil from France is here. So
Thomas is a lifesaver. I will never forget Thomas. He's a great guy. Hey, Dimitri, I don't know if you know this, but I've actually been working on my ventriloquist abilities.
Really?
Yeah, watch this. Watch this. Let me see if it works. The #1 best-selling flavor in the unsalted line. I knew it.
Wow!
Wow! I knew it would work.
Try just once more. Just try again, just to prove it's not a trick.
just a small little technical difficulty.
That's weird. Dimmy, can you give it a go as well?
Sure.
Well, hold on. Wait.
I just shit myself.
That's weird. Wow.
I did.
Talking of dragging things up from the past, I was doing a bit of YouTube research before we came on. Obviously,
oh boy,
you're probably the only guest that has done research before coming on the show.
Yes,
it's just to let them know that we take it very seriously.
I wish I had the video button to accompany this, but the audio will have to do.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay,
I was digging around. Phil's stuff's all still there, but Dimitri's kind of hidden his past slightly. Then I stumbled across this little beauty.
Retro Man here with our friend Demetrius from Portofino Italian Restaurant. Why did you choose to advertise on RTV?
Well, we're promoting Greek nights every Tuesday and Thursday night after 5 p.m. and it's only $5.
Only $5 a commercial?
$5.
$5 for Marcus Welby?
$5.
$5 from Magnum PI?
$5 aquí en ftina.
Wow.
$5 and it works.
It works. Call us now to advertise on RTV. 267-5412. I know, because I am the Retro Man.
I've got a few questions. I'm going to turn this interview around now.
Wow.
Got a few questions.
Where'd you find that? That is really good digging right there. Because all my videos are private on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like all my vaping videos are private. Yeah.
Who is the Retro Man?
So the Retro Man is it was a local cable channel that played old series on TV, and I had done some advertising with my restaurant on Retro Man.
Can I just add?
Yeah.
The years have not been kind for the amount of hours he works.
That was the classic Retro Man radio voice too. Did you notice that? Because I am the Retro Man. It was like brilliant. Well done. Yeah.
What did you say in Greek as well?
I said it's only $5. It's cheap or some shit like that. I don't know. It was like, he's just trying to be funny, I guess. That was Retro Man's plug of me trying to be funny with using Greek language.
I tell you guys, you would think that after being so close with Dimitri after all these years that I would have learned some Greek, and other than like Opa and tzatziki and a few other choice words, I just got a whole bunch of notifications from Facebook with somebody from Vape My Noob. There's something very, very special going on there, right? And I got invited to participate in it was a poll, but all of the poll questions are in Greek. And I don't know if you've ever seen actually tried to read Greek. Yeah, they're not even like the characters are from space. They're alien. They're all alien characters. You can't read any of them. So I have no idea. Obviously, there's something very, very special going on, but I have no idea what it is.
As a sci-fi fan, he knows Alien.
He knows Alien. Yeah.
Yes.
Has obviously Dimmy's learned loads of Italian history off you though.
Yes, I'm the only one that knows Italian history of Don't expect Phil to give you any. Oh, by the way, 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗹 is in the chat, so welcome. Thank you very much. And 𝗃𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗧𝗔 is here as well too from Nobag. I just want to say hi to them. Breeze Tones, what's up? And we've got a couple of UK people in the chat as well too. That's odd. It's probably your haters coming in to see, why were you invited?
We always welcome them.
By the way, I've already figured this out too. Okay, like if you were to look at those two and compare them to us, I believe Pete is equivalent to me.
Yes,
and 100%. AJ is equivalent to you.
110%.
Absolutely. I've clearly have figured this out. Hey, Pete, that's a good thing to be. Pete, that's a good thing to be.
I hear you. If ever there was a Phil and Dimitri movie,
we could play them.
You could play our younger selves. Absolutely.
You absolutely could. I can. I'll send you.
I could play with younger Phil.
Oh wait!
I'll send you to a tanning booth, and you'll be all set.
Tanning booth.
We could play the
scene where they met.
Welcome to the chat. I will tell you that there's some people where you genuinely meet, and they have followed you and they have told you, and to me, I like genuine conversations. I get that there's a business in this, and if you're going to ask me a business question, I will give you my honest answer. I will give you my best advice that if you want to hear it. But last week, I said this on the show last week, there was a guy that messaged me from Australia trying to sell his liquid, to me. And he says, man, I followed you and Pete since 2014. I was like, motherfucker.
Paul. He said Paul.
He said Paul. Yes, Paul.
Yeah.
I was like, motherfucker, you're trying to sell your fucking liquid. At least get his name right.
Pete would have been acceptable. We talked about that on the show, but Paul is completely unacceptable. Oh, by the way, 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗹 says that it's the group rules. It's not a poll, okay? But from somebody who can't read those alien characters, it's choice 1 and it's choice 2, and it looks like a poll to me.
All right, let's get a little bit serious.
Wait, are you sure you want to get serious right now?
Yeah, I just want to get serious right now. Then we can transition to some funny stuff.
Okay, good.
I want to get back to this YouTube thing because it is a hot topic right now, and I want the guys to weigh in on this. So we've seen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw this YouTube thing a long time ago. I mean, obviously, that it's not like there's not going to be a future, and I understand why. I understand business. I understand algorithms, and I understand AdSense. But I get it. I understand the business rules of doing what we do. But it seems to me like a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people are upset with YouTube, with what they're doing, with strikes and this and that. When did you know that, hey, we really need to look into how we're going to transition, if we're going to continue to do this, how we're going to grow? Because this is what every smart, in my opinion, person should be doing instead of getting on Twitter and bitching about, why did I get a strike?
I think the first real indicator was when TPD rules came in.
Yeah, you could hear the train in the distance.
You could see, and then in the UK, advertising is governed by a body called the ASA, Advertising Standards Agency, and they adopted parts of the TPD as UK rules, what you can and can't do with vape marketing as a tobacco product. From that, it was quite clear that you're basically operating in a grey area, and that's not a great place to build a business around, if that's what it is you're doing.
Sure.
So I think that was the first alarm bell, that if we're going to be making vaping content, then we need to diversify it as much as possible. The second thing was when I kind of think of the exact YouTube change, but there was a change where with links in descriptions, that became a problem.
Yep.
It was just pre-COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe a little bit before that. And that was a clear indicator. Firstly, that was a revenue stream for a lot of content creators, ourselves included. You could sell that space, and it was quite, for people with big audience, that would have been quite lucrative. Have a shop sponsor you, let's say, and they get that link. Once that's taken away, you question the value of it from a business perspective, but also you can see that your entire infrastructure is built in someone else's garden. Mm-hmm. This is their train set. This is Google's property. And if they want to change the rules and take your whole thing away, they'll do it overnight without telling you. And they don't have to give you a reason.
Of course.
You can keep your videos, they're yours, but that channel that you think you've built is theirs.
That is correct.
And that's painful.
It's painful.
That's
It
a painful
hurts.
reality, because we knew along the way that as much as we've got multiple channels and platforms now for communicating, whether it's Spotify video or the podcast platforms, Apple and the likes, or the YouTube channel, the audience, I would say at any one time is probably less than 1,000 people that regularly turn up. There's 1,000 people that stay close, that ask advice, that are probably always transitioning, but there's always an average of 1,000, and those 1,000 are looking to you for regular guidance. And when you get a kick for 7-day ban, you literally can only communicate very restrictively. And then you think, and what if this just disappears? And bearing in mind, that's a genuine support for those people. And I think of those individuals as us back in the day when we first quit, and everyone was telling us that this is just as harmful as smoking, and there was nobody else that was going, keep going, you have quit, this is good, well done. Nobody said well done to us in the beginning. There's nobody. Even immediate family still thought I was smoking. So and so we kind of carry that passion going forward, that there'll be people that will go, those guys helped me. And I could probably dig out versions of comments from different videos. The real tragedy is, because of building this in somebody else's garden, we, as they throw out the bans, had to be so quick to react. After 7 days, we went live again, and we got immediately banned again by YouTube because we hadn't caught up with their new guidelines on the whole back library of videos. So it's not a woe is I, bang, that's it, another ban. And I think the second time around was 14 days, which did give us enough time, but it meant downing our tools, and all focus was on trying to be YouTube compliant to their latest version of guidelines, which was backdated to the very beginning of time. Yeah. So even though you're compliant at that moment in time, the rules in the future could change. And it's hard work.
So we're thankful for each day that YouTube continues to allow you to use their platform. And it is fantastic at reaching new people and for keeping your community close to you. As you guys know, on the DP show, you've got a great community that stay close to you, and you find new people along the way. It's really good for that. So we're thankful for every day that's there, but we're definitely mindful that it can get taken away. And we know that we can't cry about it when it happens, because it's not ours, and they've warned us enough times. They've warned all the vaping community.
Yeah, all you gotta do is read the terms of service as well too. I mean, this is why nobody does.
Restricted product is quite clear.
And listen, I saw a comment by Marshall that said, "Hey, there's a lot of pot videos on YouTube, so I don't agree with it." I get it. I'm mad as well too. There's a lot of content on YouTube that I don't agree with, but at the end of the day, it's YouTube. It's like we don't have the voice to make a change like that. We can't even get people to go out and vote. We're not going to get YouTube to change their terms of service because a couple of vapors got mad. So I see it as that way as well too. I see it as that this is what we're dealt with. You're either going to make the change or make adjustments. I'll give you a prime example. For research purposes only, I follow a few OnlyFans girls, and just for research purposes, because I like to do just like you do.
Bullshit.
I like to do research like you, and it never fails. Every girl that you're gonna follow on Instagram always promotes her backup account.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Of course, So they'll be like, this is Anna, but also follow Anna backup. They are aware of what they're doing is gray, and at any given time, they built their Instagram account to 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, thirsty men like me, and at any given time, it could go away. So they're always promoting themselves. Hey, always have this account, and a third account, and a fourth account. So I think that might have been a little bit of a fault of our industry as well too. We should have started diversifying this a while ago and tried to get on other platforms as well too, and try to invade a little bit more Twitch and podcasts are big now. Obviously, it's the new thing for the last couple of years, so that's a very good platform to be on. And you'll tell us a little bit more about that. But I think that we should have been doing that from a while, and not just relying, we got YouTube, we're making some money, we're getting paid for the reviews, we're getting a little bit of ad money coming in, and we're happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, podcasting for us was quite a few years ago that it was like, well, let's go into this. It was mainly because it was a format that we enjoyed making other content in as well. So, like, how can we diversify this vaping thing? Well, rather than it being what everyone seemed to do at the time, which was sat at a table, maybe with a top-down camera, let's look at this product, let's take it down, all that stuff. How can we do it differently? How can we make it more personable? And how can we diversify? So podcasting was a really natural thing, and it played into what we do best, which is to be really lazy and take the piss out of each other.
Well, our first channel literally did the standard type of review. Here's a brand new product. Let's unbox it. This is what comes in the box. Let's do some kind of element of tutorial, show you how to prime it, show you how to turn it on, what's the menu features. Let's vape it. Let's tell you our thoughts, who it's for. And those videos went out for a retail chain, Flavor Vapor. And then we played with our intentions of a longer form project, which was really podcast. And it was the three of us. And so Alex, who's the main star, who's always been on camera over the years. And the three of us just at a table having this kind of conversation. And that's when we kind of hit the realization after a few months that the analytics from podcast, this was going to be the future for us.
Yeah.
But obviously everyone's at YouTube.
Yeah, and it's a different skill set as well, which I think a lot of the existing vaping reviewers may struggle with. Not all of them. You know, some are obviously really good in camera and they'll be able to transition anyway. But I'm thinking there's a few from the UK that you couldn't sustain an hour and a half long show listening to.
Certainly, unless you had a guest. I mean, I'd find it very hard on my own to just talk on podcasts.
Exactly.
Sure. And by the way, in 2014, I did 128 podcasts with a smoke-free radio. But I mean, way before the time when it was popular. But it was a really good avenue. Phil will tell you, I put a lot of great information at the time, and it did very, very well. I just got to the point where 128, I got burnt out. You know, that was a lot of work. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Dimitri, because you said something, and I might have a lot of comments depending on how you're relaying this. So you said make adjustments, right? When you say make adjustments, are you talking making adjustments on YouTube, or are you talking additional platforms like Instagram, like TikTok?
Additional platforms is what I'm talking about, which takes a lot of work. If you decide to do this as a living field, we're talking about people are complaining that they're taking away their living. Right. So if you've decided that this is what you're going to do for a living, you need to evolve and you need to make adjustments.
Right. So I'll make some of the same comments that I made before and give you an issue that I have with that. Right. So I'm feeling, not that I make a whole lot of review videos, if any, anymore at this point, right? But I'm feeling pressure, like, okay, YouTube Shorts and Instagram and TikTok. Here's my problem with that, and the problem that I have with it is the same reason why I can't get fully behind a disposable, right? I acknowledge the fact that disposables are easy to use, and they may be working for some people, but it's also initializing a lot of use. We know that, right, with the youth. Right. So if I think about who I want to talk to as a reviewer, as somebody who's interested in getting people off of cigarettes and onto vaping, I don't know if I'm going to find those people on Instagram or TikTok. I feel, right, that if I get involved with Instagram and TikTok, right, I'm not talking to the right crowd anymore. Now I'm initiating use on those platforms.
I disagree.
I disagree too. I'll say, I know we're going to probably talk about this later. First of all, on disposables and initiating use, it's probably the biggest fire that we get because we do cover disposables because they are right at the start end of the market. Our demographics on YouTube analytics, which is pretty accurate, as you guys know, is under 5% that are under 18 accounts. Now, there's a chance that you've got people using parents' accounts or older brothers or fake accounts, but that number is going to be painfully small compared to the millions of people that watch that channel every month.
Sure, but I also don't think that a 16-year-old will get on TikTok to see you and, fake
absolutely.
actor Petey over there and say, hey, oh man, look at the way that they're vaping on this strawberry ice bar nuts, whatever the next thing is. And I'm going to go buy that. And I'm going to start vaping because you guys did it. This is my point that I was trying to make with Phil.
Yes.
And there's way a lot more older people. And trust me, being in Europe, I've seen this a lot, especially in Greece. There's a lot more older people on TikTok and Instagram than when we think. It's not just kids.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
I'd definitely say to Phil, firstly, it was nice to hear from you. But also, my point to disagree on would be one, that if you are passionate about helping people to stop smoking and transition to vaping, then the perfect nicotine replacement therapy is currently a disposable. Now, whether you like that or not, it is the first dipping of your toes. It's the current easiest device. People want no mess, no nonsense. They don't need to know anything about vaping. You can walk into any convenience retailer or vape shop. You can pick it up online. You don't need product knowledge. You just see a flavor, and you see that what's traditionally now with disposables is 2%. So rather than 20 mg, so you'd see it 2%. That's going to be perfect for me. Anything over 15 cigarettes a day sort of area, that's what I'm going to need as my nicotine replacement. To serve them shorts on Reels or on YouTube is how people are consuming content right now. If I go onto Facebook, I start looking at one bit of relevant news story. The next thing I get is something else that might interest me, or something else that might interest me. The advertising on there is so accurately tailored to you, just as Facebook, for an example, or Instagram, one of the same, that they are going to pick up on other things that I've looked at. So therefore, you then reach the people that are thinking about it. We know that because of their cookies, at the right time. And that is how you become, in today's world, the ambassador to break and make the difference. Yeah. So whether we like it or not, it is that short form content, and whether we like it or not, it is disposables. Now, I think everyone in the vape industry would agree that it's not the best long-term device. But if you can identify that you like mango, great. Now I found a banging mango flavor. Then the next thing you do is you go, right, I've just found mango pineapple ice by this company called Unsalted.
The #1 best-selling flavor in the unsalted line. No, not that one.
I know. I was just trying to trigger you.
Okay, but we brought Phil back into the room, so that's good. And that's what I talk about all the time. So you start with this nicotine replacement therapy. People are looking for this convenience. It's just massively about convenience now. Once we get them onto this, and we've got a flavor that makes it easy, and we can talk about Malaysian flavors and how tastes have changed, and we've gone into this sweetness, but we capture their attention on something that's very easy. Now we can talk about reducing the costs and going for something like, hold on.
𝗂𝗂𝗧.
I've got this, which is called the Eclipse. I don't know if you've seen it.
I use it
as a fidget spinner, but I can fill this with my unsalted, and I can pick any flavor, and it's a lot cheaper for me as a user. So then I can educate them next up with another video, which is about this as the next follow-on device. Yeah. So I hate being disagreeable, but I would definitely say
it's great.
No. What you're saying makes complete and total sense. You have to understand too that I have a certain perspective on the disposable, because the disposable market does not support my style of vaping. Right.
Or vape shops. It doesn't support vape shops. I would say it's actually any vape store's worst nightmare, because once you start promoting this as the go-to product, you then lose your customer, because they can go to a supermarket when they're doing the shopping and go and pick up a disposable.
Yeah.
So it's an absolute nightmare. But where they then need to go back and get the customer service and the variety is in a vape store.
Yeah.
So
one of the things that Dimitri and I talk about a lot is balance, the word balance, right? And we discussed this on the 𝗍𝗓𝗧 show as well. And I don't see the balance when it comes to disposables, and there could be if they allow it. But there was a time when we started doing the shows, and it was for beginners, right? And then we started doing the future shows, and we're walking around with mouth-to-lung devices, and there's nothing there for us because everybody is direct lunging and everybody is blowing clouds, right? And then you go into the future a little bit, and we move into the low-powered pod devices. Now there's nothing for me, who's a 12 milligram freebase, and now there's nothing for the sub-ohmer cloud chasing community, right? Now you go to today, then you get into the higher power pods where, it works for me. But now you go to today where, you're in the disposable world, and now all it is salt nicotine, and it's very, very high strength, and it's ice flavors, right?
Yeah. So we don't have
again, there's no balance. But when I listen to you, talk, and when I listen to you explain, I understand what you're trying to do. Is that you can hook somebody watching you with that beginner device, and then you can carry them along to other devices. Sure.
But that's the diversifying of social media content, and it just moves so fast. And I get it, maybe for us, Phil, being a little bit older and being of that first, romantic generation of vaping, I get it. But the fact is that these are the products that are popular now. These are the products that are introduced into vapors. I think it's our responsibility as people in the business to train our staff, make products that are going to be easy to use, to transition disposable vapors when they choose to make that choice. And most of the adult disposable users eventually will make that choice, where they want to be a little bit cheaper or a little bit,
I also think
flavors.
I also think it's the responsibility of manufacturers to be, as much as possible, coming up with devices that are as convenient as possible, but more sustainable than disposable. We see it with, let's say, disposable pod systems that are closed. More convenience is going to persuade a disposable user to transition to something more sustainable, and that's the responsibility of the manufacturers to cash in on that. And we're starting to see more of it now. We're getting quite a few of these disposable pod systems in now, which do cater for that bit of the market, but it's still thin compared to the amount of new disposables that are like hitting.
And prices, like the Clips was a very targeted attempt by Anakin. I cannot stop selling the Clips at my stores. I will tell you, it's my number one seller right now. I have all the colors, given the new colors that they launched, and because of the price point and the fact that I have made these adjustments on liquid as well too, with pineapple mango ice, banana ice, in that line of products. I've put them in 30 mils, which the 30 mil unfortunately kind of disappeared from the market, which was really stupid. But I brought back 30 mils, and I bring the Clips. And to me, when that person is, I don't push it on anybody, but when that person is ready, for me, with 20 euros, I can convert them into an open system where if I had to about, $40 for a kit, and then 60 mils, you're committed $22. You're $62 and committed to a kit that has a screen on it and buttons and ohms and volts and fill-shaped balls. I mean, it's too much.
That's the thing. Where you go about that journey kind of reminds me of us, because that's literally where we went. We went the Zenith coil route, and we kind of were then able to grow with you guys. So along our journey, Zenith was a big part. I think you say Zenith, don't they? I should be saying
Zenith.
it. Should I be saying it?
That is the correct way.
Zenith is the
and
correct.
you have
Z coils,
and they have
Z.
the ZF coil as well.
ZF.
That's fine. Yeah, hey, as long as you're buying it, you can call it whatever the fuck you want.
You're promoting him. I don't care what you call it.
Which is how I thought he would be about it.
It's all about the money of it.
It's like the Go Z. I saw a British reviewer says the Go Z kit. I was like, where the fuck do you see it? It clearly says ZEE. It's Z. I mean, how do you get Z out of that? I don't get it.
The Skeptor.
𝗏𝗏. Remember that? The 𝗏𝗏. Who was that British reviewer that did it? Oh my God.
Oh God, it wasn't.
Steve Mount says cost might be a factor that causes a new vapor to search for other options rather than a disposable. I mean, and look, I agree. The disposable, we've beat it to death here, but you cannot run away from it. You cannot.
No.
I think it's a little bit ironic when we see reviews on them and stuff like that. They're paid, we get it, they're promotions and all that. But I seriously doubt that anybody looks at disposable reviews with the thinking I'm going to look at this review if I'm going to buy a disposable or not. I just don't think that happens.
So my thing with disposable reviews is I think of it as a single entry point. So I talk about that journey of discovery and coming up next in their playlist. I think about that single point of action where I can interrupt someone's day and maybe start making them think about how easy this would be.
And that's the thing to counter that slight thought about people searching out content. That's actually not so much.
You're using the beep, by the way. That's pretty fucking.
Yeah, old school.
Did you see how
really
plastic that is?
Yeah.
The way algorithms work now, they actually favor suggesting content to you over you searching out content. Yeah. So it's going to, let's say it's on vertical form video shorts or reels, whatever it is, it's going to suggest to you something that it thinks you're going to be interested in. So if you're searching around,
I know that very well. All I see is boobs in my feed. That's it.
Yeah,
it's boobs. It's just like if I open my Instagram search, you know how you hit the Instagram search button, like, and before you type something, you already have pictures. Mine is all boobs. I'm embarrassed to open up my phone publicly.
I can attest to that.
What's your Instagram? I'll be like, hold on a second, let me open it. Tell me your Instagram. I'll put it in it because as soon as I hit that search bar, it's just tits and ass. That's all that comes up. I don't know.
If you stand by behind Dimitri as he's looking through his cell phone, there's a potential to have an orgasm.
Yes, 100%.
Is that just because you stood behind Dimitri?
No, it's definitely not from that. Trust me, I think it won't reach. But you are right in that this is how it is today.
Yeah.
Going back to my original point, look, I am upset to see people that have done videos for a while disappear or whatever, but. Partially, that has to do with YouTube, but also partially is that the industry has changed. Okay,
man, do you remember when Dash Vapes was like leading it? Dash had like the biggest subscriber.
It was taken away, didn't it? Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Yeah,
like that, gone.
Just like that. And you don't see him crying. You don't see him. Whatever. They moved on. Whatever. It is what it is. Dave got on TikTok, sending me some videos. Instagram is big, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And you cannot argue with somebody that owns your content because they pay you. They own your content, right? So, all I'm saying is that partially YouTube and also partially that the community aspect and the hobbyist aspect of vaping slowly died a very painful death. It's not what it used to be. It's just not. Numbers have dwindled for everybody. Even when you were allowed to make YouTube videos, the numbers were not there. Me and Phil I'm a huge numbers guy, and I've monitored everything since 2011 when I started on YouTube, and I've seen how the numbers have changed and how the demographics have changed and the replays and views and stuff like that. So all of that together forces you to either evolve or disappear. Yeah. Simple as that.
And we could be sitting here in 3-4 years' time talking about even more changes that would look like what this current situation is out of date. It just is how it is.
But you know what? There'll still be Z coils.
They'll still be called Z coils.
Yeah, we hope so. We really hope so.
Not only will there be Z coils, but there's going to be Z coils still back then.
Yes, there's going to be Z coils as well. Yeah.
Expanding the range.
Including the new 0.6 coil, which is coming out. We're very, very excited.
The new Duo Prime coil. I got the name of the technology correct now.
I saw recently they were on a French podcast.
Yes,
and they gave a guy a product with a drawing on the back of it. Well, I got a product.
Yeah.
They kind of gave it to me.
You stole it from the show.
He showed it to me.
You stuck it back. Yeah.
It's the Slide Top, which I actually have here. And on the back, he drew such a profanity. I don't think I can share
Jesus.
it.
Is that what I think it is?
It's rather large.
It's that way round.
Oh,
would you have it upside down?
It's smaller than I thought when it's like that.
Yeah. How can it be rather large on that box?
It's that small. It's really that small.
And by the way,
that's actual.
I don't know if you know this, but we gave that to you so early that the American FBI are actually on their way to your studio right now to reclaim it.
The marketing team at Iniken actually specifically told us not to talk about it.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
We were very clear.
So I won't mention anything about this because I know it's sensitive.
No, don't. We're not allowed to show our new product. This Z60 right here with the slide top. We cannot show it. We can't hint it. We can't.
Nothing.
Then
We're
it's
under
best
strict
that we
orders.
leave. It's best that we
Best to
leave
that.
out because
That's like top is.
I've mixed it with the bubble glass and the new 0.6 ohm coil, so I won't mention that.
No.
Don't say that it comes with bubble glass.
Yes, don't say that.
Yes.
No.
Don't say
No,
that.
He imported the glass.
but I had to mix it up with the what I call the chroma because they might call it something else. How do you say
It's
it?
chroma. It's chroma.
Okay,
You're
217.
using a 21700 mod with that tank.
Battery for days.
Wait, no, that's not
Phil
a.
does it all the
battery
time.
life.
Phil does it all the time.
What does not 0.6 mean? Why don't you just say 0.6? Why do you even have to put the fucking naught in front of it? I don't understand.
It's mathematically correct, Phil.
It's just how we do things in the UK. Being correct.
It seems like an
is
incredible
not
waste
one.
of time to me.
Well, I mean,
gotta
we're
be more
here.
So,
aren't we?
you know, during the Aussie show, somebody asked me, they said, why is Inikin only a 3-click on and off versus a 5-click on and off? And I said, well, if I said I had a chart, I would show you that it saves 0.2 milliseconds of your life every time you turn it off, on and off that device, right?
And I
I
bet
always
they
thought
appreciate
5 is
that
too
answer.
much. I never got
Far
to
too
5.
much.
I wanted 1. Like 1, boom, let's turn it on.
No,
Like,
that's
I never
silly.
got-
That's silly because
I know.
1 is to fire. That's just
I know, but the
can't
5
do that.
click, I just never understood it, even from the Ego batteries. You know, when you had to do it fast in the old Ego batteries, and sometimes you couldn't do it fast enough,
Yeah.
then you
I-
had to
I
reset
do
it and do it
have-
from the beginning.
I get anxiety.
I've got a really serious question.
Okay.
I'd love to take this moment while I've got someone as technically minded, engineered
Yeah.
as Phil.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go then. Here we
Dimitri, do you mind if I just put a question to Phil for a
Absolutely
moment?
not.
Phil, as a huge fan of Inikin products and your engineering skills over the years, I have trouble with thirds. More to the point, you do.
go. Ah.
I like to explain in a tutorial how there is 3 LED indications on the battery level.
Yes.
We've got green from 70 to 100%.
That works.
We have blue in the middle third of charge, 30 to 70%. And in the lower third of charge, 0 to 30%, we go red.
Why is such preference given to the middle one?
Yeah.
Why is it not even?
Yeah, please.
You've got the floor.
I can answer that. I can answer that in the same way that I can answer low, medium, and high. Okay? Low, cool. What color represents cool? Blue,
Blue.
right?
Blue.
The background's blue. He's a
Yes.
cool guy.
Medium, we got to pick another color. Green. High, red. So that's what I told them, and they completely ignored me. So
100%, 100% they did. And the
That never
percentages.
is.
as well.
If that's the true story, that's awesome.
that is absolutely a true story.
I was
There's,
there.
and I
I
have
was there.
plenty more.
I will vouch.
I could remember standing in front of all like every single one of the major Chinese manufacturers at a 𝗂𝗵𝗶 meeting, begging them, let's come up with a standard of
Yeah.
O-ring colors that will identify the coil material in a cardo.
100%.
Or not cardo,
In a
coil,
coil.
like coil, right?
Yes.
If it's stainless steel, it'll be blue. If it's Kanthal, red. So the O-ring would be across the board for the Chinese manufacturers.
Do you know that
That's
there's those moments where you go, I've just had this idea, and then you Google it, and you don't find that anyone else has covered it, and then you find out in a podcast that someone else had the same idea.
And it
Oh,
was
yeah.
poo-pooed.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was squashed. It was a crap
Well,
idea
we're on
anyway.
video in 2015 saying this. This is 2015 when we proposed it, and we're still waiting for the Chinese. But you know, I mean, listen. One thing, and I think we talked about this a little bit in Birmingham, is that one thing is that you have to understand most Chinese factory owners are engineers, and once something gets in their head, I don't care who comes. First of all, their own staff won't tell them the truth. So if they come up and they say, wow, I got this vape, and when you hit the button, LED lights up in the tank. Everybody that's around them is going to say, fucking brilliant. Let's make it. Let's mass produce it. And then me and Phil will go, mostly Phil, because Phil's the bad guy, but mostly Phil. But we'll go say, this is a horrible idea. And they don't care. It's just like, it's going to go because there's so many people around them that are supporting it. So you have to understand that no matter how much it makes sense to me and to you and the numbers, like you said, why is it 30 to 70? We really don't know. I mean, maybe they think that 30 to 100% combined will give you an idea of how much you can use the device itself. But at the end of the day, it's like once it gets into their head, it's when me and Phil worked for Kangaroo, we had the same thing happen with the sub box. We told them, I swear to God, we begged them not to release the sub box. We begged the owner of Kangaroo not to release the sub box. Everybody around them said, they're engineers and they're inner people. Chinese have top level people, like 7 or 8 people around them. It's like the people that are around Trump, his trusted advisors, right? It's the same thing. Those 7, 8 people around them were like, this is the best product. We need to put this. And I was like, this is a really good idea, but the practicality of the device, and Phil did a 7-page report on why this should not go out to the market.
Is the sub box the one that was kind of billet-esque?
Yes,
as in it had the internal
tank was built inside.
Yeah,
if you would blow it, the vapor would come out of the back hole.
It's a good trick, that was.
It was a really good idea.
You would fill it. I'm going to make a mess here to prove it. You would fill it like this. You pour it in, and it comes out the bottom.
Yeah. It was not ready for the market. And then what they do is they release it, right? They release it into the market, and automatically the consumers become the beta testers because you're buying it, then it doesn't work. Then the consumers started going on YouTube and making comments. Oh, I got it and it leaked from here. Oh, I got it and the button got stuck. Oh, I got it. Everything that Phil had written into his report to Kangaroo was the user feedback that they were getting. And then, what happened eventually to Kangaroo? They went out of business. I mean, they're still in business, what I'm saying, but they just disappeared from the industry.
Are they still going? I don't.
They're OEMing. They're OEM.
It's a very, like, when you get more involved with it, with the Chinese manufacturer and understanding the Chinese mentality, it's really interesting. And it's like trying to literally talk to and move a brick wall at times, right? And it's incredibly frustrating when you know you're right. Right, like when you know that you are right, and they just will not listen to you. Just give you a small example. Like the 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀 𝗀𝗂𝗀 is a great product, right? And I think this is a wonderful product to move people from that disposable to that pod system to a device like this that's lightweight, that's comfortable, that's easy to fill, easy coil change and everything. Here's my problem with this device: the interface. The interface does not work for this current year. It works for us, it works for everybody in the chat, but those people going from a disposable to a pod to this, they don't understand watts, resistance, ohms. We're talking about things of the past. You want to call YouTube videos things of the past? This interface is a thing of the past. It can still be there as in an expert mode, like you go to the menu and you access expert mode, and there it is, right? But when you get the product, it should be you screw it on and it automatically sets itself, right?
Yeah, smart mode of some kind.
That's the correct interface for 2022 moving on. Like, just to give you an example, another example, our new device, like, I'm arguing with them. I'm like, why are we still calling things drip tips? That makes zero sense for anybody who's going from a disposable to a pod to a device like this. Nobody understands what drip tip means. It's a mouthpiece.
That's the sort of conversation we have, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? It's a mouthpiece. That's what it is. Stop labeling things as drip tips. Stop calling them drip tips. Call it what it is. It's a mouthpiece. Ain't nobody going to use that to drip.
No.
Right?
What you're saying there is literally what I was saying earlier about the responsibility of the manufacturers to make devices as simple as possible, as convenient as possible. You're absolutely right. The 𝗀𝗀𝗀 mod should 100% have a smart mode, and it should be that by default.
Yep.
Yeah. We have a meeting tomorrow to talk about moving forward on that particular issue. But Phil is right. The problem is, again, because you said it perfect, is the responsibility of the manufacturers. If not everybody does it in China, one company won't do it because they feel they're being left out of the market. They feel like, well, everybody else is doing this. We need to do the same thing because that's how the market moves. Disposables is the prime example. Even companies that held back, like 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀, of course, they try to do it a little bit better with the Enviro and some of the other stuff that they have done. But even I praise Anakin for holding back on this. I praise him for not jumping on it since day one. Because what happens is the day that you jump on disposables, every other project goes out the window.
Yeah.
It's just the classic Chinese mentality. We're going to jump on this and we're going to do what everybody else is doing and what's selling.
It's disposables are a huge UK problem. And as much as we've had Brexit, which is a conversation to try and avoid really, because it's just a disaster, we still follow the EU regulations. And for the time being,
technically you do. Because I guarantee you have over 70 million disposables that are 50 milligram of
so that's right. So for us as reviewers, I have one of our channels is massive in the United States, but we're a UK reviewers. So I don't know, go figure with that. Maybe they like the way that we sound.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's how I look mainly.
Or that.
Maybe.
But we therefore try and cover more and more devices and try and meet what the comments are asking for, which is devices that suit that audience, which is great for me because we get to see devices I've never seen before. But also, I have to tell every manufacturer, don't send me 5%. I just can't vape 5%. As you know, I like it kind of weak.
You like it way too weak. I was really surprised, Phil. When I offered to send them a liquid from here to try out for the Unsalted,
which is what?
I have the messages on Instagram. I don't want to embarrass you publicly now, but I asked them. I said, what kind of milligram strength that you want, and they said 3, and I was like, what kind of vagina vape? Milligram? What? I don't get it. I was like,
I think you actually said pizza vaping pussy. I think was the exact phrase.
Yeah. That actually led to a video from you two guys that I'm trying to get the link from behind the scenes, and I was a little bit upset at that video because you pulled me into it, right? You said Phil and Dimitri said this about us.
Right, earlier, I'm going to call you up on this minute, Phil. Earlier, you said that you were the peacekeeper.
Yes, I am the Switzerland of vaping. Right.
So I was pulling you into it in a hope that you could bridge this Anglo-Greek war.
See, the problem is that so you pulled me into it, but then you started saying bad things about Dimitri. Right now, when that happens,
it's like WWF. They've joined forces.
Right, bitches. He's got my back, that's for sure.
I got his back, I got his back on that stuff.
Oh, I see.
But let's just close out the disposable thing, because we really have beaten this dead horse. We all can agree that they're vital in the market. We all can agree it's not the best option. We all can agree it's an environmental disaster. We can all agree on everything that we've talked about. I think we're all on the same page. At the end of the day, it's what's selling. It's what's hot right now. And it's definitely a great tool. If you look at the balance of harm versus good, with this product, I think that the good outweighs the bad. I think if disposables were not around, I think initiation to cigarettes would still be high. I think a lot more kids would be smoking instead of vaping. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that goes around there. I think that we can all agree that it's not a sustainable thing. I think that governments are going to crack down on it. So I think from that perspective, all we got to do is be patient. And me and Phil have gone through this cycle quite a few times. We went through this with sub-ohming, right?
I was just going to say sub-ohming.
Turned to stealth devices came in. I remember when the My One dropped, and we left the 2017 Expo going, wow, so what's up next is all mouth to lung, which was awful for me because I love direct to lung. And going, everything's going to go stealthy, small. And it happened in line with TPD regulations. So it was kind of like, do you know what? There's a lot of logic to it, but everything shrunk down.
As we talked about with the platforms changing and evolving, and you either have to move or die, you evolve or die. It's the same with the vaping industry. Products have come and gone. We've seen different trends. Right now, it is definitely disposables, but we are starting to see some more convenient sub-ohm stuff hitting the market as well. Decent sub-ohm mods with smart modes and simple pod systems. it's. I believe that we're going to see a change away from it as well, and regulation will speed it up if that needs to happen.
Yeah,
Like you
agree,
said,
I agree.
we have to be
I
patient.
think that, the longevity. I mean, look, we saw the pre-sale figures for this light top, and I mean, I'm shocked that we've sold a lot of this product. It hasn't even been released, so that goes to show you that there is a demand still for these products. There is a demand for the sequel. There's a demand for our products, luckily, and we still have a job. But it always seems that the uppity that happens and all the drama that happens because either there's a financial loss or there's an ego loss in this equation, which is something that we see. I mean, if you have built your whole persona against over sub-ohm vaping, and then all of a sudden, oops, mouth to lung is popular, so you have two choices. You can either bash mouth to lung vaping or start saying, well, I mouth to lung now. Which, the irony of that is, I mean, people will forgive you. They'll forget. This is an entertainment. YouTube is an entertainment for a lot of people. They're going to forget. And I think it's the same thing with disposables as well. A lot of people that have bashed them are either making a disposable now, or they're being paid by disposable companies to promote them as well too. And the same thing happened with Juul. We saw it in this industry as well too. A lot of people were bashing it. Then they had the affiliate link on the bottom of YouTube that made tons of money. A lot of the reviewers now, I won't say any names, but that there's either financial loss or an ego loss in that equation. This does not represent the majority of people that use vapor products, period. It's not. It does not represent.
Hey, look,
clearly the numbers speak.
I'm not a fan of disposables, but if we could put watermelon peach, the number one best-selling flavor in the unsalted line, in a disposable,
number one best-selling flavor.
I could sell a lot of those. I would be happy to support that disposable.
He should have done a lot of shots by now.
Hey, I have a question.
More shots by now.
Question for Dimitri. These guys they're such big disposable supporters. Obviously, they're reviewing them. They're like 20 milligram free brace. Why the hell did they ask for 3 milligram?
Because I didn't pay them. Disposables did pay them, but
by the end of a filming day, with so many.
I have an evil plan of sending my disposable to them and trying to get promotion for it. Right, that's what I'm
done deal.
I was working up on that.
I understand. Okay, that makes sense now. Thank you.
All right,
this is typically how it is for me. Yeah. I've always got a couple of devices on the go. In fact, on my desk, because of reviews, it's obviously far more than that. When you were doing your review days, Phil, I bet you had so many that you were constantly kind of running with in between filming sessions.
Always.
So I typically have like a daily carry, which is generally a couple of days for a disposable. And then I have like a go-to device, whether it's a Borrow tank or one of yours.
The other thing with the 3mg is if we've done a day of filming and there's so many disposables that do come through, they all get sent to us at 20 mg. That's a lot of nicotine. If you're going to be sitting here filming for 2-3 hours, that's a lot of nicotine for us taking. By the end of it, you're so heady. The idea of vaping anything.
You don't have to inhale, buddy. You don't have to inhale. You don't have to.
I'm a purist.
Let me tell you something. I remember a reviewer. I'm not going to say anything. I remember a reviewer that told me and Phil that sub-women was the only way that he quit smoking. And then when mouth to lung became very popular, he started doing mouth to lungs. But the funny part was trying to see him mouth to lung on camera was the funniest, because he didn't even know how to properly mouth to lung. So he was trying to mouth to lung, but instead he was like kind of restrictive direct lung inhaling inside. I mean, it was just hilarious. So that's what you should do. You should just puff on it and just don't inhale it. Just fucking blow it out like a cigar.
Or learn to be one of those vape tricksters so I don't have to inhale it.
Yes, do
Hey, by the way, that tells you a lot about a product. Like, I remember that, in the heyday of reviews, when it was like 5 packages, 5 packages at the house every day, and it literally looked like a vape shop exploded in front of me. Right? What did you pick up? Like, with all of that stuff in front of you, what did you pick up on a daily basis? And like that would be very, very telling as far as like which device was right for you. Another thing that I used to do when I was in the heyday of reviewing is I would use a device in the dark. I would always sit at night with all of the lights off, like just watching TV, and use a device in the dark. You will learn more about a device vaping it in the dark than you ever will vaping something like in the light, being able to see it.
Yeah. And by the way,
That's
you were not watching
dedication.
TV at night. You were watching porn. I just want to make sure everybody understands.
Yeah, it's OnlyFans, wasn't it? Research.
But I mean, with disposables, the disposables. Yeah, listen, I've vaped them all. I've tried them all, and they all taste the same to me.
You know, I want to make one more comment about disposables. You know, you don't realize, you know, the attractiveness of a disposable, right? And how simple it is until you do something like what I just did for the device and the tank that I can't show, the 𝗬60 and the Zlide top.
We're gonna get fired. There's no way.
I just did all of the tutorial videos for this, right? So the first video is contents and unboxing. The second video is usage, and the third video is troubleshooting, right? And I'm not saying that you're going to have issues, right? But potentially, if you do, you can use this video as a tool to figure it out, right? And as I'm doing the video, it's like, okay, I understand why people are using disposables, right? There's no troubleshooting. If it doesn't fucking work, you throw it away and you go grab another one, right? So things start to make sense when you do something like that.
A number for you with the disposable thing and our kind of journey. There's still 6 million people in the UK that smoke cigarettes, and the government's huge push is this swap to stop thing. Let's get them onto the less harmful way of getting their nicotine.
That's literally the name of the government campaign.
So we're doing something with that as well too with Anakin, by the way. We can't announce it yet, but we're doing something with that as well.
That one we actually can't announce. Yeah.
But convenience has to be at least in the top 3 factors, if not number 1 for those 6 million people. Otherwise, they're just not going to quit.
Right.
We've got to target them.
Yes. 100%. I think
and with balance, like Phil says, that is off balance for us existing vapors and us that are romantic about the glory days of vaping. It is off balance, but there's 6 million people we need to help in this country alone. So maybe we need to be off balance.
I want to bring in a new topic about evolution as well.
No.
I think they'll like this one.
All right, yeah.
I would like to announce on behalf of Vapor Expo.
Okay.
They haven't approached me to do this.
No, nothing to do with them.
On behalf of Vapor Expo, this year's Vapor Expo, there'll be fairground rides, just like the old days.
Wow.
Clouds grow clouds.
They're gonna have rides inside.
Dodgems again.
Now, also in the UK, we have a game show called The Cube. Have they franchised that to America yet?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, we can work on that. Anyway, you go into a Perspex box and you complete challenges. There is also going to be at the Vapor Expo the Cube.
So what we're doing now officially is inviting
shit.
Phil and Dimitri for a Dodgems.
Yeah, if I would like to ride the Dodgems with you until we vomit. Let's not get off until we splash.
I'm in. I mean, I won't back down from a challenge, and it will definitely win 100% because Phil is very, very competitive. So we can't give up. But what are these organizers thinking at this point? Right?
I just thought.
What are you? What point do you look at the mistakes that we've done in the past and realize we need to change the look that we're giving for this industry?
I remember the very first expo we went to. I can't even think which one it was, but it was when back in the day when there was fairground rides and just everything was over the top. And I remember
2016,
might have been 2016. I remember walking around and saying to Pete, this industry is going to get regulated out of existence if they don't sort themselves out. It was like a fairground of
strippers.
Pretty much. And like you go in the car park and there's like Bentleys and Rolls Royces with Vape 01 as the number plate. And you go, I get it. But the whole thing stinks of unregulation and new money. People are going to look at it in the wrong way. And we need to strike a balance, as Phil would say, between entertaining the enthusiasts, give them a reason to turn up to a Vape Expo that's not business to business, but also be a little bit sensible with it. We don't need
I think
fairground ride in the side.
I think you guys coined it on a previous podcast where you were talking about expos and how tiring it is for your side of travel in the world and everything, which I'm sure loads of people went, son of a bitch.
Oh, my heart bleeds.
Oh, off to Dubai. Oh, I got robbed in Dubai.
Yeah, well, we did. I mean, it wasn't clickbait. I mean, we got robbed, bro. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
And I'd love to just talk on that, but just the point that the Vapor Expos you touched on before, the most valid thing, I really do think it should just be industry business to business. I know you guys said it.
10%.
But if they separated it, if they wanted to do a consumer day, maybe there's enough interest to make it about a nicotine replacement therapy day and make it very much B2C. But I don't see the crossover.
I think it needs to be at a completely different location and a different event. 100%. I think that it should be like mainstream Formula One racing versus dirt track racing, and it needs to be exactly the same way. Shows need to be B2B, and then if a bunch of vapors want to get together and act a fool in a field like Vape Fest used to be or whatever, we're 100% we can do that and do promotion and marketing for your products there as well too.
Make it a music festival. That'd be great.
Yes, and put rides, put My Little Pony, put whatever I don't care. Put whatever you want in that setting. But when you're talking about the professional vape expos, they need to be B2B, and they don't need to be 3 days, and they don't need to be 8 hours a day. All this is just so that the promoter can make more money. That's all it is. It's all about the promoters making money. That's it.
I'm sure if there's probably people in the chat, I'm sure if they're honest, and the people that go to these vape expos that are just vapors, it's not about going to see new products. I would argue that the vast majority are going to see what they can get their hands on as giveaways and freebies.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yes,
without
100%.
Well, but there were different time slots in vaping history, right? Earlier on, that's why you went to a vape show, right?
Yeah.
You went to a vape
come
show
away with everything.
I mean, I remember we were just talking about this on the 𝗷𝗍𝗄 show when the doors opened and people would run to get that 𝗗𝗔𝗄𝗊, or they would run to get that Empire Drip shield, or they the excitement to get the products was there, to hold something new and something exciting, to get a discount, a show discount, right? And it definitely changed as time went on. And and when you talk about a show being business to business only, I completely see that being the future, especially if shows become nothing but disposables. How do you entice an audience to come in and see something at booth number 2 when it's exactly the same as booth number 1 and number 3 and number 4, right?
You know what blows my mind? I can see if you're going to get something for free that's valuable. But seeing adults go to a booth and yell, "Elf bar, Elf bar, Elf bar," to get a 2-pound disposable for free, it blows my mind.
Well, firstly, you can't get it for £2. It's £5 in the UK.
Well, no, Elf Bar has a thing going with the gas stations now where it's 3 Elf bars, 600 puff Elf bars for $9.99, which is a kick in the balls for the vape shops that carry it. And listen, I have nothing against Elf bars. I think that they're brilliant. They were the first. They're huge. In fact, I have a store in downtown Athens, which is the biggest tourist section. I get a lot of Brits that come there. And they come in and say, "We want an Elf bar." And I sell them, right? I have Elf bars there. But I tell them, I was like, "Why don't you try the Nick bar?" And they're like, "Oh, no, I want an Elf bar." I was like, "You realize this is made in the same factory. It has the same liquid in it." The only thing that changes is like, no. I want Elf bar. I'll gladly sell it to them. That's just to show you the market.
How are they selling 3 for £9 when the landing price is? Like
I showed the screenshot to Phil when we were in Dubai,
and you even said it was the death.
Somewhere on my phone.
It was the death of disposables at vape shops.
100%. 3 for $9.99. It was a promotion that we're running. I don't remember the chain of the.
You couldn't stock them cheaply enough to sell that in a vape store.
Well, because you have to understand. I will tell you here because I distribute my products, my disposables to tobacco stores here as well too. Kiosks, big tobacco kiosks here. Cigarettes, of course, are very popular in Greece. We're born with a cigarette. The doctor that delivers us has a cigarette in his mouth. So the little tobacco kiosks, they make so much small margin on the products that they sell, right? Cigarettes, they make pennies, literally pennies when they're selling. So here comes a product like a vape product that gives them a lot of margin. And what do? Immediately, they're like, okay, well, I'm going to squeeze everybody out. Now I'm going to make very, very small margins and sell 3 for £9.99. Boom. Done. All they have to do is just if they make £1 on that transaction, they've made 4 times as much as they have on a pack of cigarettes as well, too.
What's going on in the chat? We haven't heard from anyone.
Yeah, I just want to answer a couple of things here. To Larry, Larry, I'm reading all your comments. I'll give you a call tomorrow and tell you to go fuck yourself. To Glenn. Glenn, what's the best MTL after the OG Zenith? I would say the upcoming Zlide Top. 100%. And if you want once again, I can't show the Zlide Top or the Z60, but that would be a good choice if you want something with a little bit more capacity. The Zenith 2. And I don't know if you know this, guys. You guys are doing that Cube thing in the UK, right? Hall of Vape next year, because they're a little bit more intense in Germany. They're doing Squid Games at their show. It should be a lot of fun.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
With actual guns.
Yes.
Ian Phil are going to be doing the shooting.
To get invited. Hall of Vape. So, I think we're big enough now.
Invite you? Oh my God. I know the organizer. I might be able to get you like a hotel or anything like that, but I don't know past that. You might have to hitchhike to get there.
Yeah. We'll jump in with a trucker or something.
Hold on a second. I feel the need for a shot, so...
I just shit myself.
Oh, wrong one.
That's the wrong button.
Let me just click this and click this just to be sure.
Oh, wrong button.
It's the #1 best-selling flavor in the unsalted line. Who the hell was that?
That was you.
Was that me?
It sounds like it's an expo.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a sound clip.
Okay, but just to give everybody a heads up and a warning, I hear thunder outside. In Florida, we get crazy storms in the afternoon, so should this show suddenly turn off, it's because power went down. Okay?
It's because he's got bored of us.
Oh,
that's the warning
chestnut.
he gives when he gets bored.
If we don't get at least 2 hours, they got bored.
Yeah,
it's a lively conversation. I really think, to end the expo thing, I mean, we'll be at Birmingham and we'll get to see you guys again, and we'll sit down, we'll do a chat, of course.
So excited.
We're excited to see people that we like at these shows. But for us, we'll be there because it's our work. We need to promote our new products and all that. And hopefully we'll see something different than what we saw at the last Birmingham Expo, which I highly doubt it. And then we have Paris Vape Expo, October the 23rd. But I think that at some point that even the people that buy booths are going to realize, hey, the investment, we have a show in Greece the 17th of September. I did not get a booth. I have multiple businesses in Greece.
You'll be going with Inikin, I guess, won't you?
I have Inikin, I have a Nick Bar, I have my stores, I have liquid lines, I have distribution, and I did not get a booth because it's a joke. Why should I mean, a show is going to cost me in Greece $10,000 here. There's no way I'm going to get return on my investment.
Have you seen how much the kind of average cost for Birmingham is for a booth?
I mean, a normal sized booth would be £4,500. Then you have to have staff, hotels, flights, food, promotional material.
We won't mention them for obvious reasons, but there's e-liquid companies that we're close with in the UK from when British e-liquids were bigger, and they would budget around 70 to 80 grand to be at Birmingham Expo.
Yeah, if you want to flex.
They were the type that wanted to flex. It was back when
you want to flex,
short fills were like, let's go flex about it. But that kind of investment, I cannot see.
It's just huge, isn't it? It's a promotional cost to make people aware of what you do and hopefully pick up a new network of customers to make them aware of your brand, your product. And then, that should lead us to, I want to talk more about what happened in Dubai, because I know obviously there's the London show this year with the World Vape Show.
Does anyone go to that?
Are you guys going?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to go.
We could. I mean, we're going to go a little over, but we can certainly go for as long as you guys are willing to. And I know it's late for Dimitri.
Yeah, that's fine.
I will say something nice about AJ and Pete. if
When you
AJ
start
and
like
Pete,
that, there's nothing good that's gonna.
no. This is how I feel about these two guys. If they lived down the block, I would invite them over. I would. I would totally. I would totally consider them friends, and I would enjoy hanging out with them. You know why? Because they got that personality and that mentality and that joking around that has worked so well for you and me. As a matter of fact, if AJ and Pete live down the block and you live down the block as well, I'm probably more likely to invite them over than you.
That's
Okay.
fair.
There's a
I feel the
huge.
same.
That's very sweet. But there's a huge problem. People their age don't live where you live, so that's out of the question. 100%. There's no way that two guys like that would live.
I'd now like to reveal.
Yeah.
If AJ presses the button and drops the green screen, we are just down the road from you, Phil.
Come on over.
Drop the screen.
Come on over. As a matter of fact, let me just.
Your technical producer should be fired.
Let me give you an example about, like a lot of people think that the ball busting between me and Dimitri is fake. It's absolutely real. Dimitri sent me a link that he wants me to bring up a little bit later on the show. So I responded to this is all happening during the show. I responded to him, got it up, meaning it's ready to go. I probably shouldn't have used those words, right? And then he said, penis? And then I said, and of course I'm going to play along. I said, well, just look at Pete. So
because that's what happens.
And the ball busting isn't exclusive to you two. You're quite happy to spread the ball busting out to the rest of the world. Just before
we
the
see
show,
response, yeah.
I text Dimitri just to say, can you email me the Zoom link? And he says, I gotta fucking email you like the Prince of Wales.
Yeah, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you to email? Just get it off Instagram. What the hell?
Don't worry, I'll
you want
send
me
it
to
to my
email
computer.
you? Like literally open up and send you an email with a Zoom link? What the fuck? But yeah, going back, listen, Dubai, we did a whole show on it, but the truth is that, look, Dubai was good. It was first time going there. The show was kind of like the Vapor Expo, all disposables and stuff like that, but whatever. That's not the point. We want
I want to go. That's why I say I'd love to go to Dubai.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can go to the show. The organizers are, I'm sure they're begging for publicity.
Yeah, at this point, I don't give. I'll be honest with you. I don't give a fuck if you go and put a 𝗶𝗄𝗏 name tag on your. Go ahead, have fun.
But I mean, we got robbed. We got attacked at the booth. They stole everything, which is it's okay. It happens. Whatever. That's not the point.
It does? It happens? What? That happens?
Well, it happens maybe in smaller, or it might happen in California if they go loot or whatever. It happens is what I'm saying. The event, what happened. Okay? It's not something that we could control. The response from the organizers was unacceptable. I mean, unacceptable, 100% unacceptable. The way that they handled it, their communications with me, and we're talking about me. I'm not trying to toot our own horn here that we're some gods, but we've been around this fucking industry for 12 years now. We at least have a name and an integrity that we have built in this industry, and especially when you have a conversation with the organizers and try to tell it to help them, offer your expertise, offer us to do panels for them, we offered them everything. The way that they handled it was completely unacceptable. And then a month after the entire event, the owner, which I never talked to before, the owner of the event says, okay, well, we're gonna pay for you and Phil's flights to the next show. I didn't even respond to the email. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, motherfucker, I make money. I can buy my own flight to get down there. Or Anakin's gonna pay for me to get there. It's not. You cannot take away the douchebagginess of the organizers at these shows by offering a flight to somebody. It's not to me, at least. Maybe for somebody like Vaping Vic that would work, but for me, it does not work. It does not.
Can you do me a favor and get me his email so I can request first class? If he's going to send us, if it's going to be free. I mean,
it's got to be right up
so
front.
We'll see Phil there. So maybe we can join up.
Well, I can go and pretend to be Dimitri apparently. So
Oh yeah.
And everyone will go,
Yes.
hey,
Listen,
if that
you can
movie
come and be our bodyguards for the booths so we don't get robbed again. You can do that for sure.
body doubles.
Even I find on set here, I have to slouch down to meet his height.
Fuck off. Fucking always on that.
Next
You are a
time,
little bit offset.
next time we do a video with these guys, especially when like we're together in the same room, which I can't wait for that to happen. I do need to sit next to Pete, and you do need to sit next to AJ.
I have a great idea for a skit as well too. We should talk about it. We should talk about a skit in Birmingham. I have a really great idea.
It's on. We should fly you down from Birmingham, as we call it, Birmingham, which is a place in America. Birmingham, which is in UK.
You don't want to go to Birmingham, Alabama. Trust me.
We should fly you down to Cornwall, which is one of the best locations. A bit like what you would say you holiday in Florida. That's where I went to holiday. Orlando.
Where do Americans holiday?
Do they have? Wait, hold on. Wait. Do they have melting runways there? Because we can't go if we're going to get stuck.
So
We're
there's-
It's a
concerned about
runway
that a
on the
little
top
bit.
of a cliff as well.
Yeah.
Because we're
Oh,
right by
boy.
the sea.
So our local airport, if you mess up the pilot,
Drunk.
yeah,
Quite often.
then you will end up in the sea, because our local airport is literally on the edge of a cliff. If you
boy.
put into Google now Newquay Cornwall Airport and then go maps, you'll see that there's like there's a big cross on the map.
And that's where you want us to go with the airport.
Phil's
that we-
already afraid
where
of
we are.
flying.
We should-
You're not telling
we
it
should fly
anything
you
that's
in
going to
from
entice them to
Birmingham.
come.
You know,
Get you
clearly,
in on the Vape
clearly, they're trying to get rid of us and become.
Can we drive there?
Like
Because
the,
Phil does not like flying, especially not in those
It's
conditions.
like
they're trying
5
to
hours from
become.
Birmingham.
They're trying to become the bromance that we are.
Yeah, they're
We
trying.
will,
Yeah.
and
It's just-
we will get there.
It's really. It's not. I mean, it's going to be tough, man, for them. It's going to be
Yeah.
tough.
Well, I mean, not if
we're
we kill them
prepared-
off in this airplane crash.
yeah,
That's planned.
and that we can then use that as part of our movie.
The skit.
Yeah.
That's the skit Dimmy's on
What's
about.
going on in the comments? Anything? Come on, update us,
No,
boys.
no,
This is
no,
your
no.
show.
Nothing in the comments that I would bring in. Just a few comments. If booth money from one of them had been towards PSAs and proper vape advocacy, maybe we would have killed our own industry. And I get it. Like you said, you're spending 70, 80,000 on a booth. Imagine spending that money to go out there and promote vaping and tobacco harm reduction. We would be in a different place right now instead of doing Coke and vape models. But yeah, so the Dubai thing was what it was, just a bad experience for us. Unfortunately, it was our first time there and probably our last time there, because it's just.
Did you get to see any of Dubai while you there, or was it literally business?
No, it was work. We didn't really plan this trip out well. We wanted to stay a little bit longer, but we just we flew in for the show and left right after. We did get to see a few things at night. That we went to the mall. We went and had a few nice dinners with some friends, but it wasn't. What happened left such a bad taste in my mouth.
That's the problem.
The bad thing is, I couldn't say nothing about it until we got out of there. Like literally, when I was in the plane and I crossed the border into like European airspace, is when I started tweeting or Instagramming about it, because I was afraid to say anything while we're there. Might not come back. But
I can't imagine a worse place to be for the fear of being locked up or caught into it in some way.
Look, there's a lot of things that went. First of all, AJ, you know how Dimitri responded to you in the email?
Yeah.
This is his new keyboard right here, by the way. I don't know if you.
Surely is.
But look, there's because of what happened in Dubai, it put a bad taste in our mouth, and it's an unfair bad taste. Because we didn't see enough of Dubai. It was extremely hot. I don't think they should have the show like in the summer. I think they should probably do it in the wintertime. It was, very, very difficult to, be outside. I mean, it was just incredibly hot. So, I mean, you combine all of those things. We didn't do enough outside of the show. I'm sure there are beautiful parts of Dubai. I'm sure there's a lot of things that we could have experienced that would have made us enjoy going to that part of the world more. But it was a combination of not being able to get away from the show enough, not planning it well enough, not doing things outside of the show that we could have done, and of course what happened at the show that left an unfortunate taste in our mouth. And it's an unfair taste, but it's there, right?
Yeah, it was there. By the way, a comment from Don Loco. I know the area that Phil lives in. My grandma used to live near. There you go, Phil. If that does not tell you that people
we have residential parks for the elderly over here as well.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is over there.
He's on a golf resort, I bet.
Just called me.
I saw the comments in the Vapor Expo group. I'm always in tune with what's happening. I see everything that happens online, and I just don't comment anymore. If I comment now, it's usually going to be a very negative response.
Yeah, it's going to actually, it would look like that.
Yes, exactly what it is. That's the only keyboard I use to respond now. But I read a lot of the comments from the people that went to the show, and they're like, well, there was, in some of the interactions that we had with people that thought we were approachable that came and talked to us, a lot of them complained about, well, there's nothing really here for me. So I'm really interested to see what the turnout is going to be. The turnout at the last show was low.
It's certainly going to be bigger.
Yeah,
as far as
I would
exhibitors
give you
go.
one on that. So from an enthusiast point of view, I love vaping. I still get excited about all kinds of products, which is probably where you guys were at this stage. But I still get excited when something new comes in. I love it when I see something pushing boundaries and innovations. And I do love Boro tanks. I do love the kind of Cthulhu, the Pulse. I love the billet. If we could get our hands on them, you can't get them in the UK, and when you do, they're scalped. So they end up being about £600-700 over here. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get scammed buying it off of Facebook where someone doesn't actually own it. So it's like catfishing. Now, what I want to say is, when can I get a Zenith coil in a Boro tank? I don't care if you have to make the Boro tank.
Just talked about that on the Aussie show.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
Listen, at the end of the day, we're at the mercy of the modders that are working on it. And since this is a modder project, it's not like a mass-produced commercial, Inikin project. We're just gonna have to wait, till they say it's good to go. And you know how Greek modders are; they're just very meticulous.
It's going to be crazy, though. It will be crazy as soon as there is a sample, a usable, workable sample. I will jump straight on it. Because for me,
because you're such a big Boro user, I'll definitely send you one to test it out as well too. Because unfortunately, me and Phil are not in that category, and I've never had good experiences with any Boros, to be honest with you. But we're at a stage where we would like people for you to test it out and tell us how it works. A lot of people have asked for it, and hopefully we'll make that a reality soon.
I just think
I can't say anything else. If I give you a date, I'm going to be wrong, and then you're going to be mad at me.
Yeah, no, I understand. The 0.8 ohm coil, I just think, how good would that experience be? So my frustration is always, I love the bigger battery with bigger juice capacity. In the UK, we are restricted with TPD regulations. So you've only got a 2 mil tank. So therefore, there's no point in doing anything over an 18650 because you can only ever have 2 mils. So how do you sub-ohm? How do you cloud chase with 2 mil? And then the answer is, in the UK, you buy a bubble glass or you remove the bung, because it's just not practical. After 4 or 5 vapes, you're topping up your e-liquid again. It's just not practical.
Dimitri hasn't removed the bung for this video. The bung is actually installed right now.
It's still in. I see a question about Aries mouth-to-lung Boro bridge. This is the goal of if we're going to we have to make a new Boro to accommodate the Z coil. So since we're going to make a Boro that's going to accommodate the Z coil, where the modders are, they're making an RBA base for it as well too. So it's going to be a combination RBA Aries base that also takes the Z coil. This is the only way we have to sell it. You can't just sell a Boro that just takes the Z coils. People are going to get mad. So
that's amazing.
We have to be able to offer that as well too, and that's where the delay has happened.
But
it is in the work. Look, I mean, from a commercial perspective, I get the Boro thing, but I think for any Chinese company, it's about quantity and how many pieces can you sell and stuff like that. And I don't know if you know numbers from China, but I will tell you that the Boro community would not support that kind of a product unless you're a smaller Chinese company. And we've seen smaller companies that have put out these products out, and a lot of them have been shit. There've been a few good products that have come out, but a lot of them have been shit that have left a bad taste to people. And we just didn't want to do that. And I don't think that Inikin would go for that anyway. I don't think any Chinese company would go for that at the level that the Z coil is now, which is the #1 seller for Inikin. So we want to continue to put out tanks and devices that are going to take the same coil and continue that path. And it's good for the vape shop. It's good for the consumer as well too. But when it comes to specialized projects like that, it goes, like I said earlier, we have Formula One, and then we have the dirt track in the side where the kids will play. We need to keep it on that side and have the modders.
It's been a long time since you guys did a rebuildable tank. The Aries, I've had the Aries for years.
Yes.
The Aries 2, is still a fantastic tank. You know, it's really interesting when we get a like a message like I just got an Aries 2 and oh my God, it's so good and it's so easy to use, and you know we love to hear that. But you know how vaping is, right? If it's a month old, it's completely forgotten about. And it doesn't need to be that way. I actually had an idea. The Aries 3, I don't know if I should give the name of it, right? But the development plan has been submitted to Anakin. Right? It's just a matter of them saying yes to it, right?
Oh, wow.
And because of the disposables, a lot of these projects have been put on the back burner. Unfortunately, that's just the, you know, it's just
COVID happened and threw in a lot of time. But I mean, you guys have always been pretty good at making small tweaks, and things like sticking with the Z coil was a great move, which meant that everything that I previously bought, and I think most vapors are going to be like me, that if you go into it, you go, right, I'm just going to buy 10 packs of the 0.8 ohms. And then you did the Pro Coil, and I was like, oh, I've got to try some of that. Bought a pack, 10 of those. And then when a new device comes out, I can just drop it into that new device. Yeah. And then that's beautiful for me. I just love being able to cross everything over. It's like being able to take your tank off and put it straight onto another mod.
Yeah, and also we listen. I mean, we listen to what people say. Believe it or not, like we through our Facebook group and the feedback that we get, we always listen to what people say, and we relay this to Anakin, and we try to improve. We try to make things better and give people what they actually want to use it in. There are some limitations because the Z-Coil has a brand new 510, but it's also an advantage because every time you change the coil, you have a brand new 510 on your tank, right? So you have that advantage. The disadvantage is that when you have a coil with threads on it, it kind of limits you onto what devices you can actually make. Prime example, we cannot fit a Z-Coil in a Boro tank, period. The existing Boro tank, because of that threading that's underneath there, it's impossible to get the airflow correct for it. So, listening to what the people want, I think, is very, very important. And everything that we have done, we've explained to people, okay, well, Aries 2 is out because you wanted this. Boom, 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 boom. And this is how lucky we are. Like every time we come up with this idea, you know, me and Phil come up with this idea, things sometimes because you're mass producing for 29 countries, you know, it takes a while. By the time the product comes out, there might be another 20 products that come out at the same time. Like when we came up with the cross-flow air technology to have the adjustment of the airflow underneath the coil, we were probably the first ones to put that out there. Within 3 months, there was at least 5 more mouth-to-lung tanks that did the same thing. That, so you know,
this is a real issue you've made for yourself now. So I've got the brand new slide top, which I don't want to talk about too much because
you can't show it.
Don't show it either. Yeah,
don't show the slide top.
I've been told directly not to,
or talk about the name, the slide top. Can't say that
until that embargo date. I won't.
Yes,
but what you've done with this is created a real issue because I loved the Zenith.
Yes,
and I have to be brutal.
Sure, 100%.
Much of a fan of that restricted mouth to lung, which the Slide gave you over the Zenith. For people that like that tight style, everyone loves the Slide, yeah? But now you've made a Slide tank that is all the things that I loved about the Zenith, but you've made an even better airflow. So from that mouth to lung point of view, this is far better for me. I like the way it narrows down.
Yes, we're not allowed to talk about the specifics of this slide top product.
You're not supposed to. You're not
airflow.
Okay, but there's some technology that they've done with the airflow because when it turns, it's open. There's no air holes, and as it gets thinner,
it's a teardrop.
Say that?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Phil took that idea from me.
Well, he's not allowed to talk about it.
Because I had a dream about it.
You had a dream?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Hell, wait a second. First of all, even though you can't talk about it, based on some of the things that you just mentioned, you will find a little bit of money in your PayPal account. But other than that, that teardrop design that you see in that tank, I have been pushing that. Dimitri, how long?
2017. I have it documented. You know, one of the things that I do is I document everything. Because one day, if we, release a book, me and Phil are planning on releasing a book, we're going to be able to talk a lot about more of our struggles and what has happened, and a lot of our high points in vaping as well, too.
I've got 2 questions for you guys.
Well, I haven't finished this one, but hold it, because you've created a problem for yourself. I like restricted direct to lung. This tank shouldn't be able to satisfy me, but does because of what you've done with witchcraft in the airflow, which I had a dream about because it's tapered down, which we're not allowed to talk about. Can you give me an answer of how you're now going to better the Zenith, which was previously my favorite, but now isn't because of the thing I can't talk about?
Well, that's actually very simple. We are going to actually hack into your dreams because clearly the design came from your dream. So any future dreams that you might have, we're going to be able to capture those and just put them into the next device.
He has a lot of like weird dreams apparently as well.
That one where we Dutch rudder
with Phil. Yeah, it was odd, wasn't it?
Oh, I am so looking forward to the dreams that aren't vape related from your head, man. Absolutely.
I got one where I was on a podcast and I was just over Dimitri and my nipple was erect.
Wow.
And he reached up in his screen.
I don't know if I'm hitting it correctly.
And he was licking my nipple. It was such a weird dream, but it'd never possibly be real.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It threw me off. I thought it was a girl's titty. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know if that's a compliment or
come to mummy.
But obviously, the popularity of the 0.3 ohm coil for restricted direct lung made us we had to make the adjustment to be able to accommodate both of the coils. Number one rule for us is mouth to lung. Like, we need to have a tight mouth to lung. I think that period across the board and all of our.
And that was always the Slide. The Slide nailed mouth to lung.
Yeah.
Yes. But now with the introduction of the 0.3 ohm coil, which has been a popular seller, I think it's the number 2 seller in the entire line of coils, we needed to make a slide that can accommodate it. But we didn't want to make a slide bottom airflow. The only thing that was missing from our, family of products was a
portfolio
tank. And top airflow has been popular this past year. So I'm not going to lie to you. There's some commercial viability there for us as well too. And that's why we decided to do that on the slide. And I think the fact that now you can truly claim 100% leak free, because the seepage and stuff like that Phil's talked about this a lot, the difference between seepage and leakage. But now you can truly claim you're not going to get any liquid on the bottom because the airflow comes from the top as well too. I think it's another extra tool for vape shops to give to a new vapor, like hassle-free coil changing, no liquid on your hands, the best coil change in the market, in our opinion. And now you're not going to get any seepage on the bottom of the tank as well too, which is a huge.
It plays into that convenience thing that we were talking about earlier.
Correct.
You had 2 questions, AJ.
Yeah.
I needed them to answer that first.
Okay.
And if they moan about it, this is their fault. They kept us waiting 8 years.
Yeah.
And yes, rightly so, it overruns. Blame yourselves. AJ, your 2 questions.
We have a bit of a dream. Not one of
you guys dream a lot. I don't know what the fuck.
Are you munching a lot of dreaming
during your podcast? What the fuck are you doing? Yeah.
Of getting out to Shenzhen, getting to China. What's your advice if we do get there? Obviously, we're waiting for COVID to end. It's kind of put a bit of a pause on the whole thing.
You're not going to go anytime soon. They're on lockdown again right now.
Wait, hold on a second. We can have this conversation after we're done going live.
I see. I just thought it might be interesting.
Oh, wow.
Fine.
He's going to tell us about the ladyboys.
That's what he's going to talk about.
There's no ladyboys there. But yeah, the real good conversation about China can happen off air. But I will tell you one thing, that the Chinese they're true, genuine people. The culture is completely different. It's a culture shock for a lot of people that go there, as it was for us the first time. But the more trips that we went back and made the adjustments, I will tell you that the people are very nice, very hospitable. Ultimately, everybody's looking for marketing, promotion, and ideas for free, right? That they're not going to pay for. Ultimately, that if you get the opportunity to go, expect you're going to get that from everybody, right?
Yeah.
They're going to do a little bit of showing off, and then they're going to sit you down and try to extract from your brain, any information that they can gather. But the biggest advice that I will tell you is keep your mouth shut. Do not give anything that you don't get paid for, because it's unfortunately, but it does happen a lot in China. And when the book comes out with me and Phil, you'll be able to read a lot of those.
I'm looking forward to the.
I want
I'm
a
looking
signed
forward to the
copy.
book. Phil, do we have a title yet?
I have some good advice too. Okay, learn how to use chopsticks so you don't embarrass the shit out of me like Dimitri did.
Oh.
Please, really. it was so embarrassing. Every time he would pick up a piece of food to his mouth, it would fall, and then he would ask for a fork, and it's just like so embarrassing. So like, get yourself some training chopsticks, and just learn how to use chopsticks.
I did it after the first trip. I went back, I watched some YouTube videos, and now I'm a chopstick expert. I would never embarrass Phil again, but the first trip was a disaster.
Let me see if this carries on. Let me see if the Dimitri and Phil and AJ and P thing work. So which one of you are more adventurous when it comes to eating?
Yeah, definitely me.
There you go. Me. Okay. So this was something that happens all the time in China. Okay. Something is put in front of us, and I am the one to try it. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'll watch to see if anything happens.
I have to try it, and then there's two very slight facial things that happen to Dimitri. It will either be this. That's the go ahead. Like, you can go ahead and try it, or this. No, that's
exactly what
just
it
like
was.
Stay away from it. Yeah, that's all the time. That's all the time.
Before I eat something. Yeah.
AJ, your second question, please.
It's a vaping question, so
Okay.
Hopefully this is allowed in Phil's show, because we don't want to get caught.
Everything's allowed in our show.
What do you think the next step is then? If we've seen disposables right now, we're starting to see more closed pod systems coming in as a convenience step for vaping that is a bit more sustainable. What do you think the next
pre-filled
thing is?
and disposable pods?
Yeah.
What's next?
If you put your clairvoyant hat on.
I mean, my opinion. I'll go first. I think that the pods will be bypassed. I don't think that the closed pod systems are going to be a viable option, because the biggest problem you're going to have, and as somebody that's in this industry from a business perspective, is having your product in all points of sale. So yeah, I can make a 𝗃𝗃𝗃 pod. I have one ready at Anakin right now with the same liquid inside, and have it in a pod system where you just throw the pod out. But I'm going to sell it in my shops and maybe another 20 locations, 20 vape shops that are going to pick it up. The customer does not like that. The customer wants to be able to leave here and go northern Greece, or go on vacation, or go to a different city, and be able to find replacements. So I don't care who comes up with this, unless it's 𝗪𝗋 or a couple of the big guys that have the access to thousands of points of sale. It's not going to be successful. So I don't see that being the next step. In my opinion, what we're going to see next, and Phil probably agrees with me, is simpler pod style AIOs. Think Orion of 2018. I think we're going to see stuff like that start coming to the market. Me and Phil have designed a line of products that are very, very easy to use, smart interfaces, easy to feel, semi-disposable, right? Semi-disposable, if that gives you a little hint of where we think that the next direction of the industry is going to be. And that is going to depend heavily on how these fucking liquid makers will listen to me and start making liquid that mimics Chinese liquid, period.
Yeah.
You need to be able to have, this is why Unsalted on Ice has been very successful.
And by that, you mean the kind of Malaysian sweetness?
Yeah, we need to get away from this 120 ml bottle. We need to get away from these short fills. We need to go back to simpler flavors. We need to go back to ice flavors that taste exactly like the disposable in an open system. And that on the market is extremely rare. And these guys don't want to listen. For some reason, they're so mad, but there's a huge opportunity, I think, for liquid makers there in different countries. I'm doing it in Greece. There's a huge opportunity for you to get back in the market, but be humble, admit that you were wrong, and just fucking make, 6 or 7 liquids and try to be the best disposable juice on an open market space, because the demand is going to be there. It's very hard for me to convert Billy Bob Jr. that comes into my store with a mango ice disposable if I don't have a liquid that tastes just like it. Period.
Yeah.
So before we check out if Phil agrees with you, one thing that I've just seen from an American company, Monster something, they have a disposable, then they have a nip out, then they have a short fill.
No, it's MVL, Monster Vape Labs.
Yeah, that's Jam Monster. Monster Vape Labs
they have the full range available. They've sent us the disposable. If you like this, you've got your next step ready. Go get your pod. Something like this here. This is called the clips. You can then fill your pod up,
Have you heard this before?
And when you find actually, do you know what? I want something more flavorful. You can go, maybe I want a Zenith coil. And you could go for the new 0.6 in this.
You're not allowed to talk about that, remember?
Anyway, so they've got everything covered. And that's interesting because it supports what you're saying. And across to you, Phil. Obviously, it's Phil's show, but...
it's actually... this is not Phil's show. This is the DP show.
Yes.
So it's actually...
Yeah, but to us, that always means something more special.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually...
Really
so
last time you gave us a DP show, it was
it's
very
funny
different.
that you said that about Monster Labs because they might have some really brilliant people that work for them.
That's interesting. Maybe slightly biased.
It's very, very interesting that you say that. But more people should do that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I've said this publicly to many guys, and a lot of them look at me like I'm crazy, but they don't get it. I see it top down because I'm involved in manufacturing in China, manufacturing in Europe. I have vape shops.
It's going to stick.
I see the whole process top. I see the end customer that comes into the store. So I can give you probably better data than what you think is proper. If I see a liquid maker, like I saw on the Vapor X where the guy came up and said, fuck disposables. Look, I get it. I get the romanticism and all that. But instead of saying fuck disposables, how about you be better than them?
Yeah.
Put product out there that these shops can help convert these disposable users.
That
You're
range,
not going to do it with a custard.
that range that you guys were just talking about as well. The really smart thing with it, along with the flavors carrying over from place to place, the branding's identical.
Yes.
So if I've got mango ice in this branded Monster Vape Labs disposable, and then I want to go to Assault, I know exactly what I'm looking for on the shelf.
And when I tried it,
the journeys.
I tried something they got called Pink Lady, and it's exactly the same delivery in a pod as it was in the disposable.
Yes. Yes.
In fact, if anything, you kind of get a little bit more. But,
Yeah.
And then you go to your sub-ohm tank for your 7030s, and again, the journey's just familiar. So it's every step along the way. And I hope that is the case, but I'm not seeing that in the UK. I'm not seeing people geared up. I've been chasing 𝗪𝗏𝗆, you mentioned earlier. I've been chasing 𝗪𝗏𝗆 for the bulk of this year. I think February, our first conversation about when will an e-liquid land, because the next step needs to be fulfilled. So the transition, however, the self-serving in as much as the disposable's doing well, let's keep the disposable going.
All about making money. They don't see it. 𝗪𝗵𝗶𝗹, which is one of my store managers here, says people that use disposable and vape regular mods, they're asking for flavors that are disposable all the time. Listen, I have this lady that messages me all the time. She's like, oh, I love this 𝗬𝗏𝗃 Nick bar that you have. 𝗬𝗏𝗃, right? I mean, we're not talking about, fucking pineapple, like 𝗬𝗏𝗃, and it's great. You need to put it on the flavor. And I want to tell her, I mean, this is made with Chinese tears at a factory. So I want to be like really honest with her, but I can't, but there is a demand, but also you bring the vape shop back into the equation, because the vape shops will be able to sell those where the gas station won't be able to sell it. You need the expertise to be able to handle it. B, you're helping make that conversion from disposables that we want to the open vapor system. And C, ultimately, the consumer is more satisfied because, as you said, you're going to get more flavor. You're going to get better nicotine delivery. It's going to be a win-win across the board. It's not going to happen overnight. You're going to have to transition to it, but you need to build up and give me products to do it. If I don't have products as a vape shop to do it, it's very hard when that person comes in and says, I want this, though. I want this. And you're like, well, I have this mango from, Tom, Dick, and Harry or whatever company is like, no, I don't want that. I want this, what I'm using in my disposable.
What do you think is holding the e-liquid manufacturers back then?
I think a lot of them just are not very business minded, in my opinion. They don't see the value in it, or they're so
what
upset.
most people will tell you, Dimitri, is that it's not possible because the amount of artificial sweeteners in a normal stock coil will just burn out your stock coil. But in a disposable, it's okay for a couple of days.
It's not true. It's not true. It's not true at all. I mean, in 2016, if I tell you what was in the liquid, nobody complained back then. I'm just being completely honest with you. Between diacetyl and sweeteners from all the liquids that were coming from America to the UK, I didn't hear anybody complain. In fact, they were joking around. Oh, this is a coil killer. I have to change my coil every day. But people were vaping it. I mean, we're selling tons of it. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I think that there is a way to make a product and put it on the market. I mean, banana ice is prime example. How were we able to put banana ice on the market? If you put it next to a disposable, it tastes exactly the same. And it's not over sweetened. Doesn't have over sucralose inside. 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗹, a few other tricks that we use with raspberry in the background. A lot of people don't know that the banana ice has raspberry, but the raspberry is there to sweeten it up. It's not there to change its flavor. There's ways that you can do it. All you have to do is just take a chance and say, hey, look, we're going to create a line, be clever on the marketing, and go to a vape expo and say, I'm going to come here with the balls to be able to say, oh, you like that? Come over here. You're going to like this as well, too. But nobody's doing it.
Yeah.
What about you, Phil?
I'm sorry. What was the question?
But what's next? What's next?
No. I know. Well, okay. So I'll start off with it depends. I think it depends on regulation, the direction that you see the market take. I would agree with everything that Dimitri said, but what I would like to see and what I think is going to happen is forgetting the past a little bit. And I kind of described it before when I talked about the 𝗀𝗀𝗄𝗧. I think that, wattage and resistance and Ohm's law and voltage. And
let's face it, you're a vape nerd as much as we've got a geek here. You are temperature control, nickel, titanium.
Yes.
You're technically a vape nerd.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much introduced temperature control through 𝗍𝗶 back in the day, right? I mean, I could remember that ridiculous series of videos that I did explaining 𝗍𝗶 software too, right? But I see, that's the past at this point, and the future, it's outdated, and the future is ease of use. Dimitri and I have always talked about making the technology as easy to use as possible. That has always been, one of the things that we've talked about. But I think it's more so now. It's more so, and I think that. Whether it be an online store or whether it be a physical shop, they need the tool to move that person from the disposable to the pod to something with a little bit more battery capacity, with something with a little bit more e-liquid capacity, right? But they need to be able to just hand it to them and say, okay, enjoy it. You can't do that with an interface that's going to have you set a wattage. What does wattage mean to a disposable? It means nothing. It needs to have a volume control. It needs to have a low, medium, and high. We need to get away from some of the things from the past. Like Dimitri used the term outdated. And I think I think the first companies that start to come up with user interfaces that are completely rethought, and puts it in an intuitive method. I mean, look at DJI. I'm having an argument with a guy on the DJI group right now. They just released that motion controller. You go this way, the thing goes that way. You go this way, the thing goes this way, right? I mean, it needs to be more intuitive. Wattage, resistance, Ohm's law, it's outdated.
Think of the past, yeah. Let me get a couple questions here, Phil. Glenn Watson, best calls for the Zenith 2, please. Phil, 0.8, you can't go wrong.
No. Not 0.8.
Yeah, not 0.8.
Not 0.8. Let's get this right. If we're going to be talking about it, 0.8.
And we also, we're going to be releasing the new 0.6 ohm. That's going to use the dual prime technology. That's going to be in the 𝗧𝗨 top tank by itself and in the Z60 kit.
If you could talk about it, you could say that at 11 watts, you can do restricted direct to lung.
Yes.
At a point where we're able to talk about it, it would look something like this.
Go ahead.
Who would have thought? That's just so chilled.
Wow.
But obviously you can't show that on the
the resistance of the new 0.6 ohm was very, very important to us on how it's going to perform. And people are going to see 8 to 9 to 13 watts, and they're going to see 0.6, they're going to crank it to 50 watts. You don't need it. You don't need, with the thinness of this mesh coil and the way it's been designed, The whole point is for your battery to last a longer life. You put the 0.6 at 11 watts in a 21,700 mile battery, you're gonna have it for 3 days, right? And that's the goal of what Phil was saying earlier. We need this stuff to last longer. We need it to be able to last longer in batteries. And cranking stuff up to 25, 30 watts, even though it's great, it just kills battery quicker.
Yeah, that's true enough.
Phil, what you got there? Oh, another question. Hold on.
Packages from China.
Oh, is it? Nice. We'll be able to try this or grab this from the October Expo UK, says Phil Karras. Yes, the slide top will be at the Vapor Expo. That's one of the reasons why we're going there. This is what we're promoting.
That's some of our UK fans that we brought to the party. They're just dropping in.
Oh, is it? I doubt it somehow.
See you at the expo, Phil.
Fruit ice liquids are very popular here in South Africa, says Fee. Yes, very, very popular down there. And then Paul says, is Monster Labs Monster Juice? Are you saying their disposables is the same juice as the bottles? No, I'm saying the flavor profiles are the same between their disposables and their liquid. That's what exactly. I never said it's the same liquid.
I'm saying it is so authentic, the experience that crosses over, that I can have a disposable and go with that and be more satisfied when you swap over. Now, what you'd be used to is the contrary, having a disposable that is more satisfying than the pod.
Yes.
And I think that should be the takeaway. I've not seen anyone else do it yet. I think the company you mentioned, Monster, that have sent them, I could go and grab one. Yes. But they're the first that I've seen that have done the full Vapor's journey. And that is how it should be, that simple. Because when I talk about the entry point and then the transition, so disposable, something like this device, that's very expensive to vape every day. But now you found the flavor, let's get you onto something. And I found that those guys have completed that transition very well.
Mowgli says they need to do a potato flavor and call it the Monster Mash.
Hey, we're a half an hour beyond.
Yes, we need to.
And I'm good. Do you want to talk about Juul real quick, Dave, before we wrap it up?
Well, I mean, Juul. I don't know if these guys heard. Got ordered to pay $439 million in a settlement today for admitting to marketing to. Well, they didn't really admit it, but they've set forth some stipulations moving forward. Refraining from marketing to youths in a number of ways, including advertising in public transport or billboards, paying influencers, or depicting anyone under 35 in advertisements. It's a little bit funny for people that don't know, but those laws already exist in America. So, and they exist across the European Tobacco Products Directive as well, too. What this shows is what the government in America really wants to do, and that is milk electronic cigarettes like they do tobacco cigarettes to be able to continue to fund the various projects that cigarettes. And Juul, of course, obliged because they're owned by Big Tobacco. And Big Tobacco knows how to play the game. That
point about milking the product, do you think that that's a necessary evil for vaping to accept?
110%.
The high taxation is good.
110%. You need to be able, especially in governments that depend. I mean, America was built on tobacco and alcohol, right? I mean, that's period. So tax. So not the actual tobacco, but the tax that they makes off. But in the entire, unfortunately, for many countries, an entire industry cash cow has been built that funds the operation of the government. Like literally, the government operates because they're dependent on that money. And we are the Uber to taxis, to cigarettes. We're exactly the same thing. So is it necessary? Yes, it's necessary. But it cannot be done, unfortunately, volunteer, because I don't know if you've seen this report out of Europe, but right now, forget America. In Europe right now, 70% of the industry does not pay proper taxes. This is across the board in Europe. It's not specific to the UK. It's not specific to Greece. As an entirety, Europe, 70% of the products are not taxed correctly. Hence why TPD3 is going to bring a pan-European tax. And you'll see it. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's coming for sure. 100%. That way, you'll have to pay a tax into the EU instead of paying a tax directly to the government. That way, they can control it more and bring in the necessary funds that, unfortunately, our industry has not been paying. We can go down to Manchester, UK, and there's probably $50 million worth of product there that's not taxed. I'm just telling you the truth. I've seen a lot of it with my own eyes. So don't think that the governments don't know that this is going on. Unfortunately, we're not smart enough to do it from the beginning, to go and say, hey, look, we're going to generate revenue. Greece is another problem. Like, our industry brings in 2 million euros in tax a year. 2 million in euros is, for a government, is not a lot of money. In fact, we're not even on the map of taxation when Philip Morris brings in 45 million by itself. Philip Morris brings in 45 million euros in tax to Greece every year. And
my fear there is what's happened in Canada, where it's absolutely devastating amounts of tax.
Yes. Germany is another one. I mean, Germany just completely crushed a liter of VG in Germany with tax is 237 euros right now. So, I mean, listen, it's an unfortunate thing, but it's coming because of what we expected. And this settlement is another example of big tobacco bending over to the government, saying, oh, we'll do whatever you want, and the government rewards them by monopolizing the industry for them only, because they're willing to do that and admit that they had a fault, which they didn't. Whatever, it is what it is. But they paid it. 439 million today.
Which makes e-cigarettes look bad, but they don't mind burning e-cigarettes.
That's correct. Then everybody's going to be like, okay, there's 2 or 3 companies. We're making our money. Okay, now everybody use electronic cigarettes. They're good. They're better than cigarettes, basically, is what they're going to say. But to do that, they have to get rid of us first. So, the other day, a side note, Phil, I don't know if I told you this, but I went to have a drink with Greg and his wife, and their 11-year-old daughter was with us, and another couple. We're sitting at a cafe bar here in Athens. It's about 10:30 at night. A girl comes up from British American Tobacco with a British American Tobacco shirt and has a tray with Glow, which is their heat not burn product.
Wow.
Yeah.
Little packs, the devices, and all that. I was shocked. This is completely against the law. Okay. Yeah. You cannot do that. I mean, back in the 80s, Rothmans and cigarettes, they used to do it all the time. Go to the bars, cafes, and give you 3 little packs that had like 4 cigarettes inside. But under today's TBD, this is not allowed. And this chick literally walks up to the table, and she picked the table, of all tables to go to. And she comes up to me and she says, oh, you want to try Glow? And I was like, what you're doing is illegal. And she's like, well, I was like, no, what you're doing is illegal. And there's an 11-year-old kid at the table. Like, wow, don't you have any fucking common sense? So she ran away. My point is, to do that in Greece, there's a 5,000 euro fine if you're caught, meaning advertising your a tobacco product that way. But come to it, guys, the tobacco companies say, well, we're just going to budget that into our marketing budget. So if we get a fine for 5,000 euro, we'll just pay it. It's just like buying an ad in the newspaper and move on, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Something that we can't do. I can't, as an individual, Nick Bar is my brand here. I can't pay $5,000, 5,000 euro every day penalty, because obviously I don't have 5,000 euros every day to pay. But for these companies, it's doable. They can do that. So this is what we're up against.
Wow.
Crazy.
So what do you think? Is it time to wrap it up? I mean, Dimitri's got to be getting pretty late for you. Also late for what time is it for you, Pete and AJ?
This is 20 to 11 here.
Yeah, we're quite good because we've been waiting 8 years.
Yeah. It's been a while. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you've been waiting 8 years. 8 years. So I would assume that you would have. Look at this.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, we got it. We got it.
Okay, I would assume that you have some amazing words of wisdom to leave everybody with.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, if you would wait, one more thing, because I want to do one more shot. The number one best-selling flavor in the unsalted line. Thank you.
There goes the bottle.
And in your words of wisdom, if you would like to say, additional nice things about me, go ahead.
Yeah.
I just shit myself.
Oh, that was
Such a great soundbite, man. I knew
that
it
was unexpected. I didn't. It wasn't.
I don't know how that got in there, to be honest.
No, I didn't put it there.
Anything nice to wrap up
about these two?
Yeah.
Well,
Anything?
I mean, are they still there? Because I mean, we could have done this by ourselves. To be honest, I don't know why they needed to be there.
I was kind of underwhelmed. Maybe I built it up. They say when you meet your heroes.
Yeah.
I think in my head it was going to be more.
Yeah, I mean, we probably could have done without Phil there, to be honest.
It was the shirt though. The shirt was strong for this episode. Previously, he doesn't dress up that well.
I think he was doing it for you.
The last one, he had one of Pam's shirts on.
Oh, okay.
It was a good shirt.
The final words of wisdom I'd say is whenever you're ready to turn your book into a film, we're there to play the first few chapters. Our fee's very reasonable.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know how convincing it will be me playing Phil, because quite often I'm mistaken for Brad Pitt. I've had Tom Cruise before. It's embarrassing.
It's Biff from Back to the Future mainly.
No. I am the real Tom Cruise. If you've seen the video, everybody, Dimitri will know. Dimitri, am I not the real Tom Cruise? If
You really are. You really are.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cross between. See, like I like to say, like a cross between Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and there was the other guy too. I can't think of his name right now. But go ahead.
Hannibal Lecter.
Fuck you.
Anthony Hopkins, yes.
No, just Hannibal Lecter.
Phil, if I could get out on the golf course, which obviously on the retirement village that you live on, you spend a lot of time there. If I could get out and get some of that tan, I could convince people that I was a younger you.
Definitely.
Yes, 100%.
And I've got the Italian connection as well, although mine's to Florence.
Mental note, Dimitri. The next time I ask these two guys to like little final words of wisdom, just say.
By the way, there's nothing Italian about this guy. Like you thought Phil Busardo was like non-Italian. Like this guy, there's nothing Italian. Like you have probably more Irish in you than anything else. I mean, for real.
That is some bullshit. I'm at 100% Italian. I speak the Italian too.
Just the hand.
Zero.
Yes.
I want to see my heritage DNA from you, buddy, because there's absolutely, you might have been a cum shot on somebody's eye from an Italian, but there's definitely none in your DNA. I mean, there's just no way. No way. There's no way.
There's
I put money on it.
True.
Yeah.
I put money on it.
Desage.
Do a DNA test. Do a DNA. Like, I'll pull my DNA test up right now. You'll see I'm 100% Greek. I'll pull your DNA test up.
No, there is no doubt in my mind that you are 100% Greek.
Yeah, undeniable.
Yeah. Just the side profile.
Yes, that's all it is, really.
It's the alien writing.
Yeah. And I notice you're not sponsored by Tommy Hilfiger tonight, which is rare.
I am. This is a Tommy Hilfiger shirt.
Oh, it is? It's just subtle.
So's this.
I have Tommy Hilfiger shoes, socks, jeans, belt, and shirt. My underwear is not today.
This is the Tommy Hilfiger Star Wars collection.
Yeah, from China.
From China. That's from one of those markets by the beach, isn't it?
Final words of wisdom.
Yes, we're still waiting on those, by the way.
Yeah, that might be a while.
We're waiting a long time.
I haven't got a lot. I haven't prepared anything. I didn't know it was coming. But the best way to give up smoking today is by finding a nicotine level that is right for you, with a flavor that is going to help overcome that poor taste that you have. That's why you're over seasoning all your food and you don't know it yet, but you're going to get that from a disposable. When you find that flavor, when you get that right nicotine, it's going to make it so much easier. And vaping is not smoking, and disposables aren't the enemy, is what the industry needs to know. Start with your easy access point and then move on as quickly as you can and find the right device for you.
That's good. That was pretty good, wasn't it?
It's all right.
Wow. It's all right.
Like I say, Phil, I didn't really warm up.
Dating site when Pete talks for some reason.
By the way, can somebody stop deleting that? I need to know what the adult dating site is.
I was gonna say maybe we get a discount for it. Phil, if you can bring up those two flyers, that the bottom one first.
I can. I had something ready to go, but let me change that.
So I can make an announcement.
Absolutely.
This weekend, my announcement is I'm having not that one.
Okay. There you
That
go.
one. This weekend, this Saturday, I will be in Albania at the Liquid Puff Tirana store. We're having our grand opening there. I doubt anybody's watching from Albania, but if you are and you want to join us, I'll be there Saturday night. And then the big announcement, the 15th of October. Maybe we should invite PD and AJ to come down for this.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Oh, we would have so much fun.
The 15th of October, we have the grand opening of Dash Vapes EU. Big party, DJs, food, gift bags. We're also
They don't
launching
want
a
us
new
there.
liquid line, Vape My
They
New.
don't know how we party, AJ.
So 15th of October, everybody's invited here in Greece. And of course, maybe we'll make something happen with AJ and see if they have any cheap flights. What's the cheap airline? Ryanair here? Let me
Ryanair.
see.
Yeah, we could go in where they put the livestock.
Yes. Maybe we can,
Look
we'll
at
put that on train.
I think it's
I could probably
important.
fit in carry-on, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's important to point out, I think, number 1 on that flyer. Number 1. Look at that. By the
Yes,
way,
that's the highlights.
I already have my outfit planned out.
Oh boy.
And
Wow.
there's nothing about my outfit that you're going to be able to make fun of. Matter of
I
fact,
doubt that.
you're going to look at me and
Is
you're going to be
it
like,
science fiction based.
no,
I doubt that, but I'm sure I'll be able to find something.
no, you won't. You won't be able to find anything.
EasyJet, yeah, EasyJet. That's the one I was thinking about. Does EasyJet? They fly from the UK. Where you based out of?
So we're in the southwest. We're in a
What's
place
the big
called,
airport there? Not the little shitty airport with the melting runways.
Oh,
What's
the
big
nearest
airport?
one's probably Bristol. That's international. Yeah.
Bristol.
Yeah.
Hey Nick, see if we can find any direct flights from Bristol to.
Yeah,
I doubt they have any.
EasyJet will work. You just have to put ice in front of the plane. You got to firm up that runway.
to
Firm
melt
up the runway. We've got big problems with the runway.
All right, we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll bring you guys for the. But listen, you're gonna have to shoot some video, and
I've got about 5 fans in Greece, and that could be growing to maybe 10
yes,
by the time you come out.
I
there.
doubt it,
Three,
but
Yeah.
maybe we'll bring you that. But you're gonna have to work for it. You're gonna have to shoot video. You're gonna have to do podcast promotion, all kinds of stuff like that.
Oh,
you know
believe
what I mean?
me,
Oh, we could
Pound of
do that.
flesh.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be easy task.
They've got to make that EasyJet flight pay, haven't they?
Yeah, that's right. Plus, we're gonna
He'll
feed
put us
you.
up in his garage.
We're gonna get
Have you got an
some
inflatable
Skilocky.
bed?
Yeah.
Do you know what?
course.
I reckon staying in Dimitri's quadruple garage would probably be more luxurious.
No, you're gonna
than
sleep on the
hotel room
couch.
from
Phil's
Luxury.
gonna have the guest bedroom, but I have a couch right behind me, so you can sleep right here. One goes
On
this
that
way, one goes the
couch?
other way, so you don't cross your swords, and you'll be fine.
Maybe
Nice
we
and
want to
comfortable. Look,
cross
you
our
have a
swords,
TV.
you know?
Nice.
On the back of the box that I'm not allowed to talk about,
Yeah.
will I have to look at that in real life?
No.
'Cause that way it's
Only
big,
Phil can
but-
see that. Nobody else can see that. I'm sorry. Only Phil. Only
Special
Phil.
drawing.
You're not. John Bolo, Phil, you got to do another show with Legion Vapes again soon. I watched the replay of that. You did a very good job. You drank, and the beard thing was really, really funny. You just didn't talk about me enough. I think
That's some
next time-
bullshit. I talked about you during the whole fucking show.
It was okay, but it wasn't enough. I constantly, like every second sentence, you should say my name.
Yeah.
So you know.
I
agree.
do.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, every second sentence.
I would
yeah.
imagine being coupled up like that, Dimitri and Phil. Do you remember on those early devices we had, and on the base it had P heart D?
Yes, that was an Easter egg. Yeah, Aries.
Those days. Oh,
That
the
was a nice little Easter egg.
Now,
Look at Phil.
he doesn't
You
even
fit in
mention-
just Phil fit in perfect as a vapor right now. That's what.
Wait,
That's what
hold on.
What if you can find the right screen? There you go. Oh, see, now
Wow! You shall not pass.
you need a Kennedy atomizer now and drip in some 3 milligram Heisenberg. That's what and then you'll fit in perfectly.
3MG crew in the house.
3MG crew.
Birthday.
3MG.
If I didn't shave my entire body on a daily basis, that's what 3 days I give it. It would be everywhere.
So, okay, that's going to be an issue of me playing Phil.
Oh, yeah, Pete has
Oh, you have no body hair?
no body hair at all. He doesn't have to
No,
shave.
if I show you now,
No, easy. Yeah, no.
They're definitely gonna get banned now.
oh, I mean it's late.
Well, you know what? God bless you. You know how we were talking about the 3-click on and off saves some time? No body hair saves a lot of time. That would save a lot of time for me. That would take my shower time down from 45 minutes to about 15.
How far
Yeah,
is
so I'm
Gatwick
coming-
from you guys?
Gatwick, It's it's a flight away.
Oh, fuck that.
No.
That sounds like a lot of money. All right, I'm gonna do some research and see if we can bring you guys down here.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
That'd be fun, wouldn't it be?
Imagine that. I don't know any Greek words.
He did. Neither does Phil. He's been here fucking 7 times.
You only need one. Malaka. That's the only one you need.
This is how to cope when you don't know the language.
Okay.
Like the drinker.
No, Malaka. Just Malaka. All you need.
That's how Phil is in Italy, and he's Italian. That's exactly how Phil talks in Italy,
Phil,
and
you're
he's
a disgrace.
Italian. Such embarrassing.
It's not true.
So embarrassing. All right, we've said it all.
We have.
It's almost 1 a.m. here.
That makes us the winners of the longest podcast they've done for at least 2 years.
Yes, it has. It has. Listen, it's been a lot of fun. I know we can go out and talk for hours. I think we touched on some serious stuff. We had some ball busting, which is always fun. And we can do this again. I mean, it's not.
We should do it again, but it should be more heavily on the ball busting side than the serious stuff side.
Wow. Okay.
Because I think these two would be a lot of fun with the ball busting. I think they would.
I can do balls all day.
Clearly.
Yeah. I bash your balls.
So it would be like the 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗹.
I'll cup your balls up so hard.
Double penetration
You can
for
call it whatever you like.
Victory.
from vagina.
Yeah.
That's a great name for a show.
Yeah.
There are flights from Bristol, KLM, Aegean, and Jet2. Yeah, Jet2 is the one I'm taking to Birmingham, which is it's like a cheap airline. I mean, it really is. But there's no direct.
Well, Bristol's not too bad. Bristol's like it depends how you drive. A couple of 2-3 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Is it just the planes that get stuck on the runway, or do cars get stuck on the road too? I'm just curious.
That was only for a period of 2 weeks ago. It's not all the time.
Oh, it's not all the time?
No, it was like very hot in July and it happened.
Oh, okay.
We had an unusual heat wave where it went like over 20.
Yeah. In fact, that's why Boris Johnson quit. His new job is he goes to airports and he cools them down with a hose. That's
Sprinkles a hose or some ice.
Yeah,
it's a good idea. It's a good idea. It's a good gig. All right, hey,
We've got a
listen.
new Prime Minister today. We didn't even talk about it.
We don't need to talk about that.
Phil should have had a drink. We got a new Prime Minister.
Phil doesn't know nothing about politics in the UK. He didn't even care that you got. He probably didn't even know that you got a new Prime Minister.
No,
let's all try and have a quiet moment where we think what's on Phil's mind.
I just shit myself.
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels.
Do you know that soundboard's been a problem all night?
Like it keeps there's like technical problems.
Automatic, yes. I haven't used mine not once tonight because you guys have been doing a great job.
Really good. I feel like I need to buy the next size up Stream Deck and add some samples in there.
Yeah, well, the new Stream Deck is even better than this one for some reason. It's just so stupid they updated it so quick, but it's got a tilting
Well,
screen.
I tell you what, I got a notification to update my OBS right before the show, and I was like,
Yeah, don't do that.
I heard some bad things about it, number one. And number two, by the way, I think this might be the first technical difficulty issue-free show that we have had in months. Just months.
Small little technical difficulty.
Months.
And I can testify for the fact that it actually is.
Yes. Oh, by the way, no show next week, Phil. I have a company from the United States joining me here, so I will not be available.
Don't worry, you've made up for it with this show being twice a month.
But we'll do one the following week.
Maybe split this show in half.
Yeah.
And run half of it next week.
Depends how much money we're gonna make.
Maybe just edit it down to
0.0.
Well, we did have a €2 super chat, Phil, that we forgot to mention from Greg, so we appreciate that.
Not Greg. Craig. You could at least get his name right.
Greg, whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Which, by the way, I sent him
We'll
today.
figure that one up.
He's in the platform Facebook group. He's an admin for us, and you get his name wrong. How rude!
Listen, let me tell you something. Fuck your Brexit. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. Fuck your Brexit. I sent Greg today 2 bottles of liquid and a present, and I paid DHL obviously to ship it, and I also paid €20 in duty fees. What the fuck?
Shit.
But yeah,
Come on, I I just
Imagine
sent our
getting
friend
the
Bill
amount of
Tarling
vape parcels.
something. You know, I love doing international shipping. There's nothing more satisfying than sending a $20 item for $150. I mean, that's just it's the greatest feeling ever. It really is. So
Yeah, we were starting to get £80 charges per delivery on the shipping. Yeah, on the shipping from China. Because the duty hadn't been covered.
I wonder what I got.
You don't know what it is. You don't know what's coming, but you got to pay £80 to release it.
You need to tell the Chinese companies to handle that and prepay it when they send shit.
Yeah, so Brexit's worked out really well.
Yeah, it's been
I'm
horrible.
curious. These boxes are either going to wind up to be sex toys, and I can't show them to you, or
Don't open it up.
let's see.
Open them on camera. Be brave, Phil.
Geek Vape sent me some stuff.
Oh, wow.
See, I still get stuff.
Wow.
See,
The L200
longevity.
Classic
The
kit.
longevity of being a review. And is he going to review it? Probably not. But you know
No.
what? It's just appeared on the biggest vaping podcast on that side across the
They got
pond.
what they needed from this.
Yeah.
This one looks like an
They got their
Anakin box.
money's worth for sure.
This one looks like an
100%.
Anakin box. Let's see. Am I right? Yep.
What's in that? Don't show what you're not supposed to show.
If you've
Don't
got
show this light top with a Z60.
What are the odds that this is the first color I pull out? The lovely Dimitri Pink.
Oh, that's a separate too. We can show that. Yeah,
Skeptry.
that we can show. That is launch. That launched today.
my delivery came just as we were going live, or just before we went live. Had to turn it away. And then I looked out the window and saw the driver pulling up, and I was ready to shout out the window 2 secs, but I'd already texted on my phone to reorganize it for tomorrow. So
tomorrow,
we haven't got ours.
No, I mean the Scepter 2 is really good. I've been really enjoying using it. They fixed all the problems, thankfully, from the original one, and it's just gone in the rotation. When I go out, I take the clips. I take the can't talk about Z60 Cool Power Z80 with my and then I take the Scepter 2. That's the 3 things I've been taking out with me right now. So, and then I have my Z Force, of course, for direct lung here at the house. But that's all I've been using.
What are you guys using? Curious. What are you using?
I couple a product that's embargoed at the moment, which is meant to be from mouth to lung. I can't talk about it because it's not out yet, but it's got a unique airflow. Also, I've got a bubble glass that I can't talk about, but this device coupled with a 21700, 3 days, you're laughing. No hassle. So anyone that gets battery anxiety or worried about carrying a bottle of juice in case they're going to run out, get this 11 watts because it's got a 6. I can't talk about the coil. It's got a new coil in it, and can I say it's called the slide top?
No, not
And
allowed to
I
mention
can't
it.
share with you the name of it, but it's really cool. And basically, you don't have to buy any accessories. It's got all the right stuff with it.
I'm actually getting used to the Go Z because we are, or Go Z, we are, we're about to do the review on it. So I'm getting to grips with that. And my daily is Box X from Aspire with a BP pod on it.
Yeah,
But I
boring.
shouldn't talk about
Anyway,
that.
look
You're
at
not
this.
coming. You're not coming back. Ever
That's great.
to
We'll
show
go
us
ahead. We'll go ahead and edit that part out of the show.
Cut that out.
Look at this. I pulled this out.
Beautiful.
Just to kind of show
It's
you.
a beautiful piece.
Yeah, but wait for it.
before
You're
it's
probably
time.
going, I don't know what that is, but is it connected properly?
Now we know.
yes.
Now
it
you know
is.
it is. Yeah.
I'll do it properly in front of the microphone.
Do
is
you
it connected
know?
properly?
Do you know? I would love to sit down and talk to you about that. The beep is about 10% of what the beep was supposed to be. It was such a cool idea that I would
day.
love to do. I would love to do the beep the way the beep was originally designed.
Phil, stop for a
Cost
second.
$200.
What do you mean, AJ? What juice have I got in it?
The number 1 best-selling flavor in the unsalted line.
No,
Shit,
I'm
you're going to
afraid-
force me to do another shot.
I'm afraid it's not AJ. This is Blueberry Morning.
Oh,
Oh, that's from.
Oh,
Tiny
Blueberry
Lips,
Morning. Hey, at least somebody's using it. Nice.
Yeah, at least somebody's vaping
he
that.
didn't buy it, to be fair.
It was the only one that was fully stocked on every website. Everyone had loads of stock of it.
Yes.
Blueberry Morning. But
It's definitely
you
the
like cereal-based
number
vape,
6 in the line.
that
Yes.
kind of dessertiness about it, I really like.
It's good. It's a good liquid, no doubt.
Watermelon peach was hard to find, though, wasn't it? I mean, that seemed to be out of stock everywhere.
Watermelon peach. I mean, they keep
Weird.
raving about how
You know,
it's the best
not only is watermelon peach the number one best-selling flavor in the unsold
failing,
line, not only is this one out of stock, but from what I understand from Dimitri, the ice version of this is starting to get out of stock too.
And it's doing well.
Yeah. So, right, I want to speak to your marketing team, Dimitri.
Oh God.
Whoever's behind this, idiots, and fire them. Okay. I can't source this anywhere. It's always out of stock. Watermelon peach ice. So what's going on there?
I don't know. I guess it's very, very well.
Your stock levels. If you want that to blow up in the UK, you need more stock. Blueberry Morning, you can get loads of this.
Yeah.
And I've got that in this, which we call the 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗹.
The bad thing with that is that you get to get the labels that they use in Canada. You don't get to get the good labels that we're able to sell here in Greece. That's the bad thing about it.
You know, you think Nude HD would just like give up after a while? Like, is that your life must be very unrewarding? I probably shouldn't talk about them. That's exactly what they want, right?
Yeah.
Nude HD. Is someone saying 𝗵𝗵𝗄𝗧? Because we get that a lot wherever we go.
Yeah.
Really?
Literally.
Do you know? And thank you. And what I'd like to say to you is, firstly, thank you for taking the time for the comments. It helps the algorithm. And secondly,
No
I'd like to
publicity.
reassure you that in between vaping, I always breathe air.
Yes. I listen. Nothing better could have happened to you than that. I mean, it just drives numbers up. In my opinion, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Smash that like button! Smash, smash, smash! There we go. Did that help at all? Did that do anything for the algorithm?
I think the number one thing that we can say to you guys is join us, and you can be the number 2 video for podcast vaping on Spotify. But you can be right next to us, so it'd be great. We'll have the number 1 and number 2 spot covered.
DP show record for longest final words.
Okay, I'm gonna be serious for a second. Okay, if I can be, Pete and AJ, I totally, when I met you guys, I enjoyed talking with you. It carried over into this show. I appreciate you guys coming on. I know it's a little bit late for you.
Go. Just say go then.
All right, never mind. Never mind.
No,
Go on.
Unlike you guys,
I've had enough of it.
I have to work, unlike all of you guys.
Whatever.
I actually have multiple jobs that I have to tend to.
You know what? I got to work too. I got to work on my tan tomorrow.
Yes. I know what you do.
Important.
I know what you do.
It's
I know what you
fading.
do. But I definitely work very, very hard. But listen, no,
Okay.
Phil is absolutely right.
It's been a long goodbye, but appropriately long for an 8-year wait.
Yes, 100%. I think really that you're probably the 2 most privileged UK vapors right now, honestly.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people that are dying to be in
I would disagree with you. I would say we're the only.
Yes.
Only, yeah. I mean, I expect both of you to pleasure yourselves tonight to this experience.
In your dreams, which apparently you guys have a lot of.
A lot of dreams going
I'm
on.
sure you're
Yeah.
going to see us in your
Dutch
dreams.
ruddering. Yeah. I've got a couple of blow-up mannequins with your faces on them, so I can get
Yeah.
next to it as well.
I have one of Dimitri. And don't forget the important lesson I explained to you about urinating before the show started.
Yes.
Yeah. What was the term for pushing
So more than 3 shakes was classed as
masturbation?
No. Anybody who just taps or shakes, there's urine left in the chamber, man. You gotta work it out. Otherwise,
What was the phrase you used?
what's that?
What was the phrase you used for working it out?
Oh, janking.
Janking. Thank
Yes.
you.
it was like he did a motion with it. It looked like milking a cow on the side.
I always laugh because I've seen Phil without his pants on. I always laugh when Phil uses words to describe like he has like a massive tool, which he doesn't. But when he uses words like cock, I laugh. When he uses like in the chamber, like it's a fucking Gatling gun. It's not. It's a fucking
that's
water
the
pistol.
engineering
You know, I
then,
mean,
isn't
it's
it?
not. It's just the descriptions that Phil uses are way over exaggerated.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the.
Kind of like the word epic and vaping. You know, when somebody uses the word epic, the product
lot
is
of
not
weight
going to be
to
epic.
I mean, Pete has a similar problem. You see a stature of that. He's 6'4", I think, and probably similar wide. You would expect him to be
Have a
like a
massive-
horse.
Yeah.
like two snooker balls down
But
there.
it's more like a.
Have you seen it?
Wait,
AJ?
wait a second. Have you seen it then?
AJ,
Oh,
have
He
you-
had,
Yeah, I
he
mean-
had to hold it a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, there was those few.
But when
times
you say hold it, don't hold your hand like this.
yeah, don't do this.
Okay, because now you're really just like me.
Yes.
or like
Like
and they
this
kind of like, you know,
movement
I
is
shut
not
up.
represented.
Really? So have you had an experience like Dimitri and I have? And by the way, Dimitri has not seen my pants with me with my pants off. Dimitri has seen me in an emergency room on a gurney trying to pee in a little fucking bottle. And by the
I saw
way,
your penis.
by the way,
I mean, I saw your penis.
it
Phil. You
was
cannot-
very cold
Did he
in
have a
that
catheter
room.
in
It
his
was
penis?
That's
extremely
irrelevant. I saw your penis.
it was cold in that
There's
that was the coldest room ever. It was like
It was a
Antarctica.
stressful situation.
Yeah.
You know, everything kind of tries to hide in those moments, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen, you can say whatever you want to say about my receding hairline or whatever. You cannot top the fact that I have seen your penis. Period. That's it. It's done.
Yeah,
I know.
Until you get to that level with me, then you
Yeah.
can't.
You can't. You know what? It's like you always say, like, oh, you joke around with your friend. And you're like, oh, mine's bigger than yours. Blah blah blah. Until you wind up in an emergency room in France, and then you can't make those jokes anymore, and it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
It was just
Did
fake.
you have a
It was
catheter in
fake.
it just so I feel more
No, there's no.
sorry for you?
Oh God, no catheter.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No.
They didn't have a small one.
They don't have one small enough for that. They're like,
They had to go to the baby hospital to bring a
oh
catheter.
my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Socialized medicine in France. Didn't
See,
work
now
out.
this is the show that we should have had right here. This is the show.
Yeah, you wanted to make it all about vaping, but I would much rather talk about your penis and your balls.
Yeah.
Yes, Phil does
I
not
think it's
want to talk
healthy
about his
because
penis.
do you know this is a time, and I know we're supposed to be wrapping up, but this is a time where men don't talk enough about holding each other's
Especially
balls.
as they approach the senior years, where you need to be more
Yeah,
open
you need to be checking down there, Phil.
I
You
don't
need
have a
checking.
problem. I'm very comfortable in my sexuality. When Phil was having his issues in the hospital, I took the initiative and I said, "Boom, let's go. I'm going to
I'll
put
help
you.
you,
And we're
mate.
going to get it done." Yeah, because that's
Let me
what
suck it
friends
out
do.
for
You
you.
take care of your friends.
Yeah.
But the benefit that I got of that, a very uncomfortable situation of collecting urine from, at the time, the most famous YouTube reviewer. The benefit that I got of that is that now I can talk about his penis because I've seen it.
Yeah.
That's the only enjoyment I got out of it is the continued years of me making fun of Phil's penis.
You've seen
That's
it.
the only enjoyment I
It
got
was
out of it.
it was a very bad scenario. It was very cold in the room. There was no pre-janking going on before because that helps too.
Yeah,
Couldn't
yeah.
get to fighting weight. You know?
and Dimitri, was the tan line as tragic as I visualize it?
There is no tan line.
There's
Phil has no tan
See,
line.
I had speedos. That's what I visualized, like a.
Oh no, that's
Speedo
frightening.
outline.
No. I don't do the speedos thing. Absolutely not. No.
But Phil, I tell you what. All joking aside, yeah, his penis is small, but that's okay. I'm not gonna hold that against him. But
You can't.
You know what? The funny
advantage
thing
that
is
I
that I actually went to the close-up cam for whatever Dimitri's about to say. Why? Why do I allow myself into these situations? Go ahead.
the advice that I would give you two guys, if you want it, many people have tried to copy our bromance in vaping, and they have failed. I mean, we're just on a different level.
Yeah.
The one thing that I would give the advice for you is always try to find something that you can hold on to each other that can end any conversation. Like there's no conversation that Phil can have with me right now that I can't end within one sentence. Like he can argue with me about, hey, I think we need to do this with Unsalted. I'll say, well, your penis is small. Boom. Conversation ends. Like this is a huge advantage that one has over the other. So that's the advice I would give you. Always try to have the edge. Like, have you noticed in the videos that he shoots me at shows, he takes the camera and puts it in the back of my hair because I'm uncomfortable with the fact that it's thinned back there. I hate it. But what he does, this is what he does. He focuses, zooms in on the back of my hair. Which is great.
I noticed that with the launch of the Dash Vapes video.
There you go. He
Very good
really
shot
focused
as they're
on that.
walking around. And I thought, do you know what? Dimitri's thinning a little bit there. Maybe we'll have a chat to him about
A friend would
Going-
focus on that.
maybe going abroad and having the implants.
Well, it's quite close to Turkey there. I heard it's quite cheap in Turkey.
Yeah.
But trust me, I've thought about it. But even with that, he knows it bothers me. He does it because it busts my ball, and that's fine. I take it. I take it on the chin. but I can turn around and say, you got a small penis. Boom. It ends it. Like it ends that. There's nothing that he can debate back to me that will top that off. Nothing. That's a huge advantage that I have.
My worry.
It's kind of true. Like I would go for like if I could get like 3 more inches out of being totally bald. Yeah, I'd go for that.
Do they have like an exchange program in Turkey where you can give your hair, give you a bigger dick?
Follicles for inches. Yeah.
What's the comments like about the final thoughts now? Are people still looking to speed it up, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Final thoughts, where just it's another episode.
What I got, I do know how to use though, motherfucker.
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I don't want to be in that situation with you.
That's not true. That's not true. You totally want to be in that situation with
not
me.
To satisfy me.
Huh?
You don't have to satisfy me, is what I'm saying.
Come on, please.
No, but you just need to be there for the high five. You need to receive the high five from Phil in that situation. Then he knows that
But
you
I've
know.
tried. I've tried.
Knows what to do with it.
I've tried. He's too shy. He won't do it.
We can't. Here's why. Here's why we can't. Okay. It's already bad enough that he's seen me in that horrible situation, in that incredibly cold room, okay?
And the gown and everything ruins
but
it.
God forbid, if Dimitri is literally 1 millimeter longer than I am, I will never fucking hear the end of it. I already don't hear the end of it, but
That's 100% true.
It would be even worse.
I would never. I don't care if it's a hair longer than his. If my penis is bigger than him, until we die, this will be the conversation that we're gonna have. Like it's not in any kind of scenario. We can be on a panel talking seriously and we're debating.
This is true.
This is possibly the best video you've had on your channel.
Yeah.
Right now, this is the highlights for this show.
Yeah.
So when you're making clips, just use this segment as clickbait. It will get everyone coming. I can't believe I've just found out how big Phil's penis is.
Yes. I don't actually know how big it is. Like I would never say like it's.
He doesn't know.
It's big. All I've said is that his penis.
He
is
did
not
that.
huge.
He did that.
Like, hey, look.
All I'm saying is like adjectives like cock, huge, chamber, like those shouldn't be used.
No, that's bullshit. Look, I'm a grower, not a shower. But this is kind of funny because on the 𝗂𝐶𝐴 Vape show, right? On the 𝗂𝐶𝐴 Vape show, we wound up. I was able to say some really nice things about Anakin. We talked about the Enviro. They didn't see the Enviro. And, you know, when Dimitri and I do things like this, we communicate it back to Anakin to let them know, you know, we were on this show and we talked about this, blah, blah, blah. In the meantime, my T-shirt said I shaved my balls for this because I was joking around with the Aussie people that I was on the show with. And so I sent all the information to Anakin, and they're like, great, we'll send this to the marketing team. I'm like, well, maybe not.
Hold on. Which, by the way, I got him that T-shirt as well, too, which he
Yes, you did. You did. All of the best pieces of my wardrobe come from Dimitri. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Steve
So he
Mao,
dresses
I thought
him as
Polish
well.
goodbyes were bad. Oh, look at that.
Peggy didn't turn up tonight.
ST Vapes is in. Welcome. And Scott came in when the best adult dating site was spamming. So
good. Welcome.
Good timing, Scott. Welcome.
Now we have to send people to Scott's show.
Absolutely. After here, go over there at ST Vapes and catch the show if he's doing a show tonight. And it's nice that we're able to send some people to him all these years.
Absolutely. Scott and I got into a real good conversation about quadcopters and the new DJI Avata. And I told Scott, I said, anytime you want to come over here and fly that thing, man, I'd be more than happy to have you here. But in the meantime, after this show, go see Scott's show.
Unless we're still going on, where you're going to be here.
It could very well happen. It could very well happen.
Are you going to be doing anything with tech? I've seen some other YouTubers. I know Rip Trippers does like a children's thing, and he does some religious stuff. Everyone's diversifying. Are you going to?
Dimitri and I we've actually discussed this, and we think sex toys is the right way to go.
Yeah, you could do like real life sex toys. So you could have like his and hers.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are very fucking funny.
We definitely.
Jeez, I thought Brits had no sense of humor until these two motherfuckers came on the show.
We definitely can't do molding. Like we can do. We definitely can. It's not going to sell.
It's true.
But the truth is that we could. But look, Everybody that's tried to diversify in this industry has not been successful. It does not work. The people that follow people for vaping follow it. I think that Phil could pull off because he's like, to me, it's like really nerdy when they talk about DJI and Star Trek. And even with his cameras and all that shit, like Phil will send me a message like, oh, I found this camera and does like I completely bypass the whole message. I'm like, just get it. Whatever. If it makes you happy, just fucking buy it. But I think that it's hard making the transition, especially if you're used to being on the top.
Yes.
I'm in a reviewers group where a lot of people talk on Telegram, and people are trying different things and stuff like that, and a lot of people are struggling with it. It's very hard to start today unless you go the route of TikTok, shorts, really investing time to build a brand. And it's not going to happen like vaping did, right? Vaping, the people that were successful in YouTube vaping, I will always say a dozen people have been very successful in vaping over the last decade. Those people are generally people that were on the ground floor that started very early. You built it up very, very quickly because vaping was hot. It's going to be very, very difficult to do that today in a different industry.
But that is where I don't follow that mentality, okay? Because when I started doing vape reviews, it was never about making money. It was never about the number of subscribers. To this day, those videos are not about the number of subscribers. The purpose was to put out good information that could potentially help people, right? So if I make a video about a robot vacuum or about an e-bike or about a male vibrator, it's not to, my goal wouldn't be to get the channel to the point where I'm making millions of dollars, right? Because that's not what I need to do. It would be about helping people. It would be about, where they can, put their money to get a better orgasm.
And that's the thing. I think as men, we have these different interests, and one of ours is vaping, but we have loads of channels, obviously, and
sure.
we spoke about that earlier. One of the channels is gadgets, and we just keep it very separate. We're interested in gadgets, and we cover that there. And I think you, Phil, particularly when I posed the question, it was kind of loaded. I expect for you to do something else. Is you've got a way of being a tech geek. Yeah. Obviously from he's
an entertainer,
and it's an entertainer, and it's a personality too, right?
Yeah.
And and I think a lot of this is something that we've talked about. I think a lot of like the DJing thing, right, carried over, and it was that combination of DJing, entertainer, and engineer that came together that worked. It worked, right? So could it work for something else? Potentially, it could.
Yeah,
I'm officially out of Jack Daniels, by the way. Big problem.
Use code ST for 20% off Jack Daniels. Look, I get it, Phil. However, if you don't have the audience, you're not going to be able to get product. To build that content right now would require you don't even want to get off the shitter in the morning. I mean, even you don't know how to use Instagram. Like I
have an Instagram account. I know where
you never use it. You couldn't even log in.
You said you had to re-log in.
He doesn't even know how to log in.
He
doesn't know how to tweet. And I'm not saying that to put you down. All I'm saying is that it's a different world today.
It is. And listen, I have this conversation with my friend 𝗍𝗏, who wants to start a channel with me all day long. I explained to him that it is a different world. It's very, very difficult. It's very challenging. You have to be into it. You have to be all in. It's content nonstop. I know that. Believe me. And we were just talking about something, so I'm going to tell this joke because I told it on the last show. I don't know if you know this, AJ and Pete, but there is a new device out on the market that actually reminds me of me and Dimitri. So let's say we are at a show and we're at a hotel, right? And a girl walks into my room and I'm standing there butt naked, and she's going to look at me. She's going to look down and she's going to go, "Oh, small." And then she's going to walk down and she's going to go into Dimitri's room, and Dimitri's going to be standing there butt naked, and she's going to go, "Oh, small too." And that's why the 𝗵𝗶𝗹 small 2 reminds me of me and Dimitri a little bit.
Oh boy.
Oh god.
All right. Listen. I'm glad that Pete and Phil share common small penises. That's very refreshing to hear.
Well, that's what happens when you're obviously like distant cousins.
Yes, very, very distant cousins. Extremely distant cousins. But in all honesty, it was a lot of fun. We need to do this again. We need to explore more of the body parts of you guys. But in all seriousness, we're really looking forward to coming to Vapor Expo to get to hang out with you. Maybe we'll grab a couple of beers afterwards as well too, and expand our friendship. And we'll try to make it happen for Greece as well too. I think it would be cool to have you guys down here and maybe do a little promoting for us in the UK. It'd be cool.
A pleasure. Yeah, we'd love to. Really enjoyed tonight, guys. Thanks for having us on.
Coming on. We appreciate it.
Genuine pleasure.
Is this the end of the long goodbye?
Yeah, this is the end of the long goodbye.
Okay, I just needed a cue.
You've dragged this on too long. Phil's tried thunderstorms. He said goodbyes, final words. He's done everything to try and get you off.
Those thunderstorms got hairy here just a little while ago too. I think the sun's coming back out, but we made it through the show.
We actually set a record for your channel. As far as I recall, this should be roughly. I haven't got a watch on now. Should be roughly the longest podcast.
It is. Not only is it the longest podcast, but it has the least amount of viewers too. Congratulations, guys, on that one.
That's a win. And you know, that will be a grower.
Yeah.
Time will show this video to be a strong one.
Like Phil's penis.
Yes, we're gonna see the replays, and and then the algorithms are not looking good. Trust me, it's not. Even more so after today, but no, it was a lot of fun, and looking forward to seeing you guys soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you come back on the show. I look forward to seeing you again in person, and I'm glad that we have this friendship because I really do enjoy it. So thank you guys for being on.
It's been a privilege. Cheers,
awesome,
guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again
next
soon.
Tuesday. Show 2 weeks from today.
Yes.
You're in a fucking park. It's not like you're lost. You're probably downtown in your city over there.
It's a car park.